and you are ready to take drastic steps to get the drastic results that you deserve. So imagine what it would look like if your business could easily attract your ideal clients to fill your pipeline so that you could close more sales. I want you to pause and seriously consider, what does it look like if people were coming to you, if they were hearing your name, knowing your brand, and raising their hand to say, hey, let's talk about how I can work with you? What would that look like? How would you feel? So let me tell you a little bit more about who I am. My moniker is the coach that connects. My clients. And I help speakers, coaches, authors, and experts who hate sales. They want more clients, they want more income, more security, and to sell without being salesy. They're unknown by the whole marketing and sales process, not charging what they worth. Now, I can relate, and it's not your fault. I felt the same way, but through coaching, I was able to drastically turn my business around. And now I have the privilege of helping my clients do the same thing. What I follow up like a champ, where the fortune is lost and found in the follow up. Now, what an awesome mentor that I share my network, my resources, my connections. I am known as not only that you get the knowledge and that you take the action steps, but that you meet the people, places, and things that you need to develop your business. And then also, I'm going to refer you to the people that, or I refer my clients to the people that need their services. And then people say they were inspired to take international speaker and an international coach. I have had clients in Canada. Currently have clients in Canada. I also have clients in Paris, and I have had clients in six-figure businesses. And I'm a small business. I am certified as a Facebook community builder. I have a gift for you, and I want to make sure that you get it. So this is a good place to hit the pause button. I want to give you my video series called Networking Strategies to Turn Contacts to Contracts. The way you are going to get that is you're going to take your cell phone. Yep, right now, hit pause, take your cell phone, open your text messages, text the phone number 2282. Send. It's going to come back and ask you for your email address. Go ahead and put in your email address, check it twice, make sure your phone doesn't autocorrect, and hit send. Before I'm done, you'll have video number 1 in the video series, Networking Strategies to Turn Your Contacts to Contracts. So let's talk about the business failure rate. It's not one that we are proud of. So in the first year, 21.5% of business owners fail. The second year, 30%. The fifth year, half of small business owners fail. And by the 10th year, 70%. I'm proud to say that this is my 10th year being in business, and I am still standing. Now, I believe, and it must be true, that most businesses fail for lack of marketing and sales. There are a lot of entrepreneurs out there who hate the sales process. They love what they do. They love being a speaker. They love being a coach. They love being an author. They love helping people. I just want to help people. But guess what? You have to be able to sell that. And if you can't convince people why they should hire you versus someone else, then you will go out of business. My mission is to help as many small business owners to understand the strategies they need to use in order to grow their business. So this workshop is for you if you've tried other coaches before and you got nowhere. You bought programs and didn't do the work. You need help because you don't have time to do it all on your own, and you want to grow your business nationally and internationally. If any of these bullets, you check off any of these bullets, sit up, get your workbook, start taking notes, and pay attention. So you're going to discover through this presentation my proven strategies to help drastically increase your visibility, your credibility, and ultimately your income. Now, I only have so long to tell you the things I want to tell you, and I'm going to give you a lot of value in a very short period of time. But there's so much more to the formula, the six-figure formula. And I just don't have time to give it all to you today. So here's what I'm going to offer you. Some of you are going to say, you know what? That was a great workshop. I got what I need. I'm good. And if that is you, I kiss you and wish you the best. Some of you are going to say, that was an awesome workshop. I got great information, but I need more. At the end, I'm going to tell you exactly how to get more. But right now, I'm going to give you all the value I can in this time that I'm allotted. So I'm going to introduce you to 5 proven strategies to get known, get connected, and get paid to drastically increase your revenue and get you to your 6 figures and beyond. Strategy number 1 is know your target market. Target market, I've heard that before. I need a niche. You need a target market. But I know what you're thinking. I can sell to everybody. Everybody needs what I offer: life insurance, retirement planning, coaching, life coaching, etc. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If your target market has the word body in it, then you have nobody, and you will not be able to sell and attract your people. So let's look at the problem. A lack of target market means there's no direction for you. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? I remember that cartoon from when I was a kid. We don't know which way to go. And more importantly, the people we need to serve don't know where we are because we're not in front of them. You're not focused on, and you're trying to serve too many people. And I get the question all the time, but Tony, won't I miss out on money if I'm so targeted that other people won't think I can help them? That's just not the case. I get it all the time. People want me to help them. They're not speakers, coaches, authors, and experts. But if it's right for me, I do a lot of work with realtors, Why? Because they are attracted to my brand. And so people who are not in your target market will find you. Your marketing material lacks focus for your buyers. So you're not speaking to anyone in particular. Develop a persona of the person that you need to be able to attract. So if you get a target market, it will increase your confidence, and you'll be able to move forward to serve your ideal clients. You'll be able to sell more at your price because you build relationships with your target market, and you will become the expert in your area so that people know to go to you for their help. So open your workbook. We're going to do our first exercise. And I want you to pause point, and I actually want you to answer the questions. Who is your target market? Now, here's a tip. You can have more than one. So, and in fact, I advise you to have up to 3 target markets, but be very specific. Please don't be general. I want to help women entrepreneurs. That's still too broad, right? You might want to help women entrepreneurs in a certain demographic, in a certain category of business. Please narrow it down. Who do you have an affinity for? What does that mean? So I was coaching a young lady, and she is a financial advisor. And she was struggling finding her target market, and consequently wasn't making any money because she was too broad, and she was targeted around people who couldn't afford to invest. So I asked her, well, before you became a financial advisor, what did you do? She said, I was a speech therapist. Bingo. Speech therapist. Wow. Now, I said to her, have you thought about making them one of your target markets, one of your niches? She said, no, I hadn't thought about it. Well, you have an affinity for that group because you used to be one of them. You know their pain, you know their struggles, you know how to speak their language. Why would you not go back to that target market? And the light bulb went on for her. Ding, 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 ding. And now she is on her way to her 6-figure income because she chose a demographic that she knew very well. So, who do you have an affinity for? The next one is who can afford your products and services? Who can afford your products and services? So I was coaching with another financial professional. In fact, I have a financial background. So one of my target markets are insurance and financial advisors. And that's why my stories are around that. So I was coaching another financial advisor, and her target market was single moms, and especially Black single moms. And I know that a lot of you listening are in that demographic, but let's keep it 100. Can Black single or single moms, period, can they afford extra money to invest? They might be able to afford $50 a month, $100 a month, but overall, that demographic can't afford to invest at a higher level. So what I encouraged her to do was to find the right target market that could bring her the money so that she could then create some sort of nonprofit to cater to financial education for those single moms. So make sure that your target demographic can afford you. And then what organizations cater to your target market? Find those organizations, get involved with those organizations, and we'll talk about networking in a minute. So those organizations are gold to you once you know your target demographic. So here's my quote. If your target market has the word body in it, then it's nobody. Somebody, everybody, anybody, then it's nobody, and you will not get to 6 figures that way. Strategy number 2, just make sure I didn't roll too far. Strategy number 2, get connected through networking. Networking is everything. It is, many of you that are listening to this, you know Mr. George Fraser, and Mr. George Fraser is the grandfather of networking. And he says the number one problem with Black entrepreneurs is they don't know how to network. And I'm in agreement. We're going to talk about what does it look like? What does real networking look like? And making sure that you get connected on a level that you feel compelled to help somebody else first. So here's the problem. When you don't know how to network, when you're not consistently networking and building relationships, you're unknown. People don't know you. You're wasting a lot of time and money. You're going to the wrong places. You get very few referrals. So it's imperative that you learn how to network and why networking is important. Networking in the right places get you in front of your ideal prospects. It gets you connected. And remember, I said networking in the right places, which is critical. Many of you dislike networking because you're networking with anybody, everybody, and somebody. If I cannot emphasize this enough, you got to have a target market so you know where you want to network. Then you get connected in that network. You start to serve that network. And then those relationships you develop will lead to key referrals. Trust me, I know. Now, there was a time I hated networking. I hated it because I would go to networking events, I'd pass out a bunch of business cards, and then go back to my office and wait for the phone to ring. Guess what? It never rang. So I was networking one time, and this was in 2005. I remember it vividly. I meet a sales and marketing coach, not unlike myself. At that time, I was a financial advisor. And I would say, I've been doing a lot of networking. It's not paying off. What am I doing wrong? She said, you're not doing networking right. And if you pay me $6,000, I'll teach you how to network. Girl, I ain't got no $6,000. She said, trust me, if you find the money, I guarantee you will make your money back. Well, at that point, I was desperate. I knew I wanted my six figures. I knew I wasn't going to make cold calls. I knew that I needed to learn to network. So I did what I had to do, found the money, and invested in coaching. When I tell you that investment was the best money I've ever spent in my business, it truly, truly is. To this day, I've spent a lot of money in my business. But what I learned from that coach, I now teach my clients, and it is critical to your success. And when I'm speaking to a room and I ask how many of you love to cold call, I get two hands go up. People don't like cold calling. And now it's very difficult with caller ID and screening and all of that. You got two choices when it comes to prospecting for your business. You either cold call or you network. And I'm telling you now, you must learn the art of networking, or else you will go out of business and be a statistic. So here's a networking tip. Show up, be up, follow up to blow up. I made that up. How about that? Show up, be up, follow up to blow up. Now, networking today is not what it used to be. We are all virtual. But I will tell you, I've run a six-figure business from my computer. Some of my clients I've never met in person. So when you go to virtual networking events, turn your camera on. Put your face on, ladies. Comb your hair, gentlemen. Put some jewelry on. Make sure you look good from the waist up. I don't care what you got on the bottom. And then turn the doggone camera on. Nobody can build relationship with a black box with a name in it, or even your beautiful photo. Show up. It's part of showing up. Be up. Have your energy. Introverts. I talk to introverts. Mostly introverts hire me because they know they got to get drastic. You got to be up. Miss Beyonce, she flips a switch before she gets on stage. When you see her in an interview, she's all soft and demure, like, who is that? Well, you must flip on your inner Sasha, whoever you want to name them, and be up, and especially virtually, because it's easy to fade into the background on a virtual networking. And then the fortune is in the follow-up. You must have electronic tools to connect immediately while you're at a virtual networking event, or be lost. So, and I don't have time, those one of those things I don't have time to go into, but you must show up, you must be up, you must follow up to blow up. And it's critical. This is Jamise. Jamise is my client. Jamise showed up. Her mother, she's an event planner, and her mother told her, Jamise, if you want to turn this hobby into a business, you got to network. She said, Mom, I don't want to network. She said, Jamise, find an event in your area. We happen to live in the same area. Jamise found it on Eventbrite and showed up. She sat in the back of the room, and I remember she was back there and she had her arms crossed like this. And when, she had a great time because this is when we met in person. My networking is highly interactive. So I could tell she had a great time, but when it was over, when we said amen, she was out the door. Next day, I get a text from her on Messenger, and she said, oh my God, that was the best networking event ever. And I actually own a networking organization called Network in Action. I didn't mention that earlier. And so she's like, I think my mom needs to do this in Oklahoma. And long story short, she went from not liking networking, not understanding the power of networking, to now she's a networking queen. She's doing her business virtually, and she moved out of her home office into a co-working space with me and several other members, all because she showed up. So here's your networking exercise. How many events will you attend a week? Virtual. I suggest if you're not willing to make cold calls, you need to do 2 virtual events a week. You need to ask for 5 dates at each event, one-to-ones. How many one-to-ones? So one-to-one dates, 5 per event. That's 10 that you're going to schedule the week after the event. And then how are you going to stay connected and follow up with this new network that you are building? The other thing is what do you have to offer your network? You have to be a giver. You have to give sometimes before you receive when it comes to networking. So don't neglect the networking. It is everything for your business. And my quote here says, don't be mad at the good old boys, be like the good old boys. Whenever I'm speaking, and I speak to a lot of white audiences, I say exactly this. People are mad at the good old boys because they share the deals amongst themselves. But you know what happened? They met at some capacity. They started hunting, they started fishing, they started golfing, they started doing family barbecues. And when the deals came, they started sharing the deals with each other. The problem with us as African Americans and small business owners in general is we don't spend enough time in the beginning with the figurative hunting, fishing, golfing, and really spending time connecting. You need to do that up front, because then when the deals come, we know who we're going to refer and who we're going to share it with. Don't be mad at the good old boys. Create your own network. Be a good old boy. Build relationships, build affinities, and your business will get to 6 figures. You can pause and do the exercise. Number 3, speak more to sell more. Speaking, I know a lot of these speakers. You want to share your message. You want to touch, move, and inspire people to have a better life in a various way. When I first started my business, I thought I was going to be an international keynote speaker for financial companies. What I quickly found out is those gigs are far and few between to come by, and the financial world did not really want Black and women on their stages. So I had to adapt and pivot. I was pivoting long before COVID came. So I learned the art of using speaking as marketing. Now, if you look at this picture in the background, this is a national conference. I am the speaker in this conference, and there's about 60 people in that room. This is a wonderful way for you to get a one-to-many relationship, and the people who are in the room will raise their hand if they are attracted to you. So here's the problem. You're invisible, you don't have credibility, and you feel salesy. Speaking relieves all of these problems. So why is speaking important? Number one, it's instant credibility. If the organizer of that event found enough in you to put you in front of their people, you don't have to do a lot of hard selling because you got instant credibility because they trust that organizer. You can educate without being salesy. You can turn your mess into your message. You can become the go-to expert. So speaking alleviates a lot of the problems that we have as entrepreneurs when it comes to attracting people to our business. You must learn the art of speak to sell, not speaking for fee. And now I don't really want to speak for fee because usually when you speak for fee, they won't let you sell. And my programs are one of my programs outweighs any speaker fee I would get. So it just makes more sense if I use speaking to sell. So where can you speak? Organizations and associations, local networking groups, conferences, videos is speaking, even on social media, be a podcast guest, radio interviews. These are just a few areas where speaking is beneficial to attract people to you and your business. Here's a speaking tip. Develop a signature talk that helps the audience to see that the speaking is not just about you going out, educating people, throwing up on them, telling them everything that you know, and then they clap, yay, and take no action. I've had that happen. I got sick and tired of that happening, and I had to get my own coaching and training to learn how to develop a signature talk that brought me revenue. I delivered a signature talk late last year. It was free in front of a free-minded audience, by the way. So I questioned that. Do I get in front of this free-minded audience? Am I going to get anything from that? I will tell you from that one talk, I had about 30 people there. 6 people scheduled a discovery session. 2 of them became clients, and I made $12,000 from those 2 clients. They would never have paid me a $12,000 speaking fee. But it is not just about developing a talk and educating people. It's about giving them the right structure, having the right structure of your talk. This beautiful woman here is Muncie, and Muncie is a financial credit restoration person. And Muncie, when I first met her, she was like, Tony, are you telling me I have to speak? Yes, ma'am. Are you telling me I have to network? Yes, ma'am. Are you telling me I have to do social media? Yes, ma'am. She was like, I don't want to do any of that. I'm an introvert. I'm private. I'm private. All you private people out there are missing out. I said, I know you're private. I didn't tell you to put you had a fight with your husband on social media, right? Please don't do that. I didn't tell you to share your meals on social media. I told you to share. Okay, Tony, I'm going to get drastic. I'm going to do it. This girl is out networking, out social media, and out speaking me. I'm so proud of her. She's doing radio interviews. She didn't want to show her face. Look at her face. Why would she not want to show her face? She was in her head, not in her heart. And I really had to coach her around, this ain't about you. Do you really believe that what you do will benefit your audience? If you do, then you are robbing them. And I'm talking to y'all now. You are robbing them of the opportunity to change your life, change their relationships, change their money, change their business, because you in your head, because you private. So I'm telling you, Muncie, she embraced it. She got it. She understood. She understands the power of networking, and she was not going to make cold calls. So go ahead and flip the page to your next page. This is your Speak More to Sell More exercise. Do you currently use speaking to market your business? I know you probably want to do more of that. Who's your ideal audience? We're back to our target marketing, all that. You see how this all runs together? Once you get your target market, you know where to network, you know and who to speak in front of, what topics will your audience to action. Do you have a method to collect leads at your events? And how will you stay connected with those who weren't ready to do work with you at the event? Let's go back to the beginning of my talk. Remember, I told you, text the number, text drastic. You already have in your inbox my video. So whether you do business with me later, I get people from my email list that say, I've been on your list 5 years. I'm ready now. It started with networking or speaking. So pause here and answer the questions for yourself. And also keep this in mind before you pause. Speaking is the marketing strategy that gives over and over and over and over again. It's the best marketing strategy for your business. Number 4, use technology to stay connected. The problem, without technology, no one remembers you. You're not showcasing your expertise, and you're not in front of your ideal clients when they're ready to buy. You have to use email marketing, social media, text message marketing. It helps deepens relationships. It keeps you top of mind, and it allows you to showcase again so people will be attracted to you. Social media tips. Use your personal page to build relationships. Build relationships, not likes. So the business page has its place, but a lot of people spend a lot of time building likes. You don't build relationships on a business page. You build relationships on a personal page. When you get your personal page to 5,000 people, then you can go over to your business page. Create a Facebook community. Bring all of your target into that community and give them a lot of value. And the money is in Messenger. You ask for dates in Messenger. You build relationships in Messenger. You help people in Messenger. So these are my tips for using social media. So here's the exercise. What are your top 3 social media platforms? What will you do to leverage your friends and attract? How many offline requests for appointments will you make? And what are the buying clues you can watch for in social media? As an expert, a coach, an author, people tell you all their business, especially on Facebook. And those are buying clues or selling clues for you. So if someone just got married, for instance, they need life insurance if you're a financial professional. Congratulate them, then go over to Messenger and say, I'd love to help you to make sure your family is protected. If you're a realtor, people tell you change of life all the time. And so pay attention and offer value. Don't just say, buy from me, offer them value, build a relationship, and social media relationships turn to business. Number 5, develop your sales muscles. Ain't he fine? Okay, I digress. Problem is too many business owners hate sales and they stay away from the sales conversations. They hem-haw, tiptoe around. You put too much time on non-sales related activities. You're adjusting your website, you're writing blogs, you're posting on social media. All that stuff is important, but you gotta spend your time on money generating activities. You don't want to be salesy and you are not following up. You don't have the systems for following up and you're not picking up the phone and following up. It's a major problem for small business owners. So here's my 6-figure sales strategies. Let me say this. You can't get to 6 figures without sales. No deposits, no 6 figures. So please Learn how to effectively generate leads. Stop cold calling. You're probably not doing it anyway. Be intentional with your sales. Have a discovery process. What are the questions you need to be asking your prospects? Another reason for target marketing, because then you know what questions and what pains they already have. And then know your worth and charge it. Many of you are not charging enough. And it's because you have a weak target market. And so everything goes back to target marketing. So here's my sales tip. Learn to like sales. People say to me, but Tony, can I hire someone to do the sales? You could, but what if they leave you? Then what? As a business owner, you are responsible for bringing in the dollars. If you hire someone, they are helping you. They are not primary. Never leave grocery shopping or cooking, otherwise you would starve. So develop your sales muscles. What are your prospecting activities? Turn in your workbook. Answer these questions. How many prospecting activities are you doing per week? How many sales presentations or strategy presentations are you doing per week? How many follow-ups from previous week's calls? And how are you tracking your follow-up? Listen, you guys, the fortune is won, lost in the follow up. You need to be a winner and follow up like a champ. You will never get to sell six figures if you're not telling people your price. If you're not priced right, if your offers are priced too low, you will be out of business. And I'm passionate about helping you to see that you've got to have these sales conversations. All that other stuff is nice to have, but it will not put money in the bank account. Here's a Val, beautiful Val. Val is my client. We kept in touch, met her 8 years ago. She was actually in one of my first books. And then we lost touch, but we stayed connected on Facebook. I did a Facebook Live. Timing, God's timing is interesting. I did a Facebook Live and she commented, hadn't seen her in years. I said, Val, I miss you. Let's catch up. My catch up calls are my prospecting calls. So we scheduled, I said, here's my link. She scheduled a prospect or a catch up call. What are you up to? What are you up to? You bought a networking franchise, she said. I need to network. I got a new business. I'm a copywriter. I was like, I need a copywriter. I have a conference coming up. I don't know what I'm writing. We partnered. I paid her. She paid me. She's my coaching client. Remember, I'm the coach that connects. I've connected her internationally within very quickly because so many people need copywriting. So here are my strategies. To recap, get your target market, know who they are, where they are, and go after them. Use networking to build relationships to be able to turn those contacts to contracts. Speak more to sell more. Speaking is the number one way to attract people to you. Use your social media, technology, email, text message marketing, and then learn the art of sales, because without sales, you will never get to six figures and beyond. So I'm going to allow you to take a look at this. I'm not going to go through this line by line, but it's time for you to get drastic. And if you're a speaker, coach, author, expert, I want to talk to you. Plus, I have a network. So if it's not me, I can refer you to someone else. I'm always trying to help and build my network. You already know what it's like to experience mediocre results. You already know what it feels like to have a bank account that doesn't reflect how good you actually are. And you know it's time to get drastic. So we have a program. I have a program that matches exactly how you feel. Here are some of the details of the program, but there are even more. So I'll let you go back to the recording and pause and read each of these. My program is very robust. I would love to work with you. and help you. And I'm also certifying drastic results coaches. So if you're a health coach, relationship coach, money coach, or business coach, I would love to talk to you about getting certified under my program so that you can use the Drastic Results brand and you don't have to start from scratch with your coaching. So if you know you're ready to have clients and customers beating down your door, you're ready to have more speaking engagements than you've ever imagined, and you're ready for drastic results, this is it. Schedule your get to six figures now strategy call. Go to meetwithtonyharristaylor.com. Again, that's meetwithtonyharristaylor.com. Click book appointment. Click on get to six figures now. Let's spend 30 minutes together. See how I can help you. If I'm not a good fit, I know a ton of people and I can make a recommendation for you. Plus, I just want to know who you are. Again, that's meetwithtonyharristaylor.com. Like all of my pages, you can go to Facebook and you can put in these URLs. In fact, I ask you to pause here, go over to another tab, and go ahead and connect with me. Join the sixfigurenetwork.com. That's my free Facebook community, or you can just go to Facebook and search for the Six Figure Network. And there I offer a lot of value, information, tips, and strategies on how to grow your business to six figures. I have a partner in that group. Her name is Tish. You might even find her in this iconic. So go ahead and listen to her as well. But join my community. That's where relationships truly are built. I have a TV show, the Drastic Results with Tony Harris Taylor TV show. So subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on all the other social media platforms. I want to thank you for this opportunity to pour into you my strategies to get you to six figures and beyond. I want you to please remember, nobody gets to six figures without getting their sales game. You must learn how to network, how to have a target market that will pay you your price, how to connect through technology, and how to generate more sales. Remember, meetwithtonyharristaylor.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
Greetings, this is Brother Bedford, and I want to talk to you about an industry that I stumbled into 21 years ago. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to kind of breeze through this thing as quickly as I can, but I don't want to miss anything. This industry is literally, when I stumbled into it, it was $100 million, or just barely cracking $100 million a year. Today, the same industry is almost $1 billion a day, not a year, $1 billion a day. Now you're probably saying, well, what is this industry, Brother Bedford, that has grown like that and is continuing to grow and is exploding as we speak? This is the industry of packaging and selling information, taking your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, or your passion or your hobbies, and turning them into products and services that can be sold. People are learning self-education. Now, back then it wasn't online when I started as much, but now it's the norm. Self-education, online education is what everyone is doing. So it's $1 billion a day industry. So let me tell you how I started in it, why I got started in it, and show you how I evolved with the industry. And then I want to invite you to come to my workshop, because I can't give you everything here in just these few minutes that I have with you. but I do want to give you just enough to let you know how possible this is for you and why you should join me in my workshop in just a few moments and I'll show you the power of leveraging virtual communities, networks, and masterminds. That's kind of where this industry has gone now. It started from me selling PDF documents to now running networks, online networks and communities and masterminds, and really leveraging a worldwide, a global audience, and really waking up to my 4 favorite words. And I'll tell you what those words are, and I'll tell you how I got there, but it's notification of payment received, or some of you may see new order placed. How do you separate yourself from the regular grind of trading time for dollars? That's what this industry is all about. This is literally freeing up a lot of people. Now, a lot of people are stuck. They can't make the pivot. They can't readjust. But I'm going to give you a couple of things to let you know how I did it and how you can do it as well, and how you should be moving towards this. So when I stumbled upon this, I was in the real estate industry, and I was having a degree of success. And the real estate guru who was training and teaching me, or I was buying his courses and attending his workshops and boot camps and all of these different things, he invited me to a conference in Orlando, Florida. And this conference had nothing to do with real estate. So I was a little leery at first. But then I said, you know what? I haven't gone wrong with purchasing all of these home study courses and attending everything else for with this guy. Let me go ahead and give it a shot. So let me tell you the first few things that I noticed when I attended this workshop or this conference. It was an actual conference in Orlando, Florida. First, I was one of a few in terms of Black people in the entire room, over 2,000 plus attendees. And I had to be either one of 3 or one of 4. There was no more than 4 of us, and really scattered out around 2,000 plus attendees to learn this industry of packaging information and selling it. The next thing that I noticed was that some of the biggest companies, direct response marketing companies, and really individuals were in this room. I'm speaking of the Agora Publishing. I'm speaking of the Gary Halberts, the Dan Kennedys, all of these people who are famous for writing newsletters and conducting these very expensive, back in the day, infomercials that you see every Saturday. These were the people who were behind the scenes. Agora Publishing, the #1 publisher of all of these different financial newsletters. I mean, literally making hundreds of millions of dollars per month publishing information. They were all in this room. So now I'm really intrigued. Now, the third thing that happened is that real estate guru in this room on that stage revealed that he made more money selling the how-to product, the home study courses, than he did in investing in his local real estate market. Now, after thinking about it for a second, I said, well, I guess it makes sense, right? So because the real estate market was local, but when he taught the how-tos to people who were all over the country, he went from a local business to a national business just by selling the information of how to do this. I was intrigued. He used another term called long-term value of a customer. So what is that? And he talked about how once he acquired a customer, how they became worth at least $25,000, $30,000, and some even more than that, $100,000 or more. But he talked about $25,000 once he acquired a customer. That's how much that customer was worth to him. And then I started doing the math. I was like, well, let me see. I purchased that course for $2,000. I did go to that boot camp for $3,000. I did spend. So I was one of those people that was worth $25,000 to this guru. Now I'm really intrigued. The next thing that happened at this conference is that they gave us the license, or the opportunity to purchase the license, so that we can go out and teach or sell this course to others. So that was another way that you can sell information. So I purchased the license. It was probably like $597. The license told me that I could sell the home study course, which was 2 thick manuals, right? Which was really just the transcripts of the cassette tapes. It was 16 cassette tapes that were in this course. So now I'm knowing that I'm really touching some of you who are watching this, because you remember buying those cassette tapes and the VHS tapes and of Les Brown and Zig Ziglar and all of these people. See, you were purchasing information products. You were purchasing information. Probably didn't look at it as a business, but that's what you were doing. You were spending the $400 to $500 on the home study course, just like I was. But it was 16 cassettes and 2 manuals. I came home, I ran in Detroit, Michigan. I ran a classified ad in the Michigan Chronicle up there. And people ordered, or they asked for the free report, which was nothing but a sales letter selling the course, the free report, sent it to them. And then 2 people sent me, one a check and one a money order for $397 to purchase these 16 cassettes. So now I had to go to the Kinko's and duplicate the home study course. So I had to duplicate the 2 manuals. And then I had my high-speed cassette duplicator where I could tape from this cassette over to that cassette rather quickly. And I created those 16 cassettes, and then I would packages and sent it out in the mail from Kinko's. And it probably cost me, I don't know, $30, $40 to put together the package and send it out. But I was making, so it was like $300 something was the profit from this information. I said, wow, I'm hooked. So I kept selling those immediately back from the license. So everything else I sold from that course that I now own the rights to was mine. Now, this entire course was all about just packaging information. It was about the newsletters, the home study courses, all of these different things. But there was one tape number 7. I'll never forget it. Tape number 7 was all about selling information online. And this was all new now. Again, close to 20 years ago now. So I studied tape number 7, and tape number 7 said, turn or at least start what's called an e-zine, right? You purchased the domain from GoDaddy or whatever we did. And I remember this was all dial-up. So everything was slow. We had to build out these web pages with HTML code, nothing like today. That's why today it's an industry that everybody, the barrier to entry nowadays is so easy to get in. Years ago when I got started, where we had to actually run your credit report to get a merchant account. Now you can just go get a PayPal account or Stripe or something like that. So tape number 7 said, start this page. That page is called howtobeabblackentrepreneur.com. I let all my friends know. They gave me their email. They joined this page. They went to howtobeabblackentrepreneur.com to join my e-zine. That's what we call the online magazine, was an e-zine back then. People to join. I started asking what is it that they wanted to know. And then the majority of the people said, I want to know how you make money flipping those houses in real estate. So I typed up a quick report. Of course, I had to go get the Adobe program to convert this Word document into a PDF document that had to be loaded up. It took forever online. The paper was about 11, 12 pages that I converted it into the PDF. It was around 11 or 12 pages. It could have really been 2, but I did a lot of white spacing to try to at least look like it was valuable. And I just put a price tag on it of $7. I went and got my PayPal account, got my PayPal link. And then I just sent out an email. I didn't even have a sales page or anything like that. I just told everyone, you've all been asking me about how I'm making this money, flipping these nasty, stinking, ugly houses. And in fact, that was the title of the report, how to make at least $2,000 a month flipping nasty, stinking, ugly houses. Uploaded that report, sent that email way after midnight because I was nervous. I said, I don't think this is going to work. Next day, I avoided my computer. Then I finally, got the courage to open it up. And there were those 4 words, my 4 favorite words. Notification of payment received. Notification of payment received. Notification. I said, it's broken. So I refreshed the screen to see if it worked. And there they were. Went to the next page. There they were. And so over the next day and a half to 2 days, we kept getting these little $7 notification of payment received. We had sold over 200, around 212 of those little $7 reports. That was the easiest $1,500 I'd made in my life legally. But it was so easy. So now I'm hooked. So now all I got to do is ask my list. I'm planting seeds. I'm asking my list. Well, what is it that you want? And they would tell me time management or how to do, set up a corporation or land contracting. So everything that I'm learning, and now I'm putting it into these little digital reports and selling it online now. and it was going great. So now I want you to, here's the point. I want you to, so now I'm taking my knowledge, my information, my expertise, something that I know how to do, something that I have fun doing, and now I'm just teaching it, and we're making money. But it doesn't stop there. I was reading 3 books at that time, one from one of these internet marketing gurus that I had started studying. And that book was called Conversations with Millionaires. Now, these were the physical books. I'm reading this book. There was only one Black person in the book. It was Wallace Famous Amos from Famous Amos Cookies. I don't know if you remember him. Then the idea hit me. Wouldn't it be nice if someone interviewed our millionaires, Black millionaires, and then put it in an ebook, the same way that I'm selling these little reports, put it in an ebook, sell it online. Say, this is a bright idea. So the 2 books that I was reading was Success Runs in Our Race by George C. Frazier and Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. So I called down to Cleveland, Ohio quickly. I say, this is Brother Beffert. I have this idea. I want to interview Dr. Frazier for my book called Conversations with Black Millionaires. And the sister, she's like, oh, poor brother. No, I don't think that George would be interested in that. She really just deflated my ego. I mean, everything that I'm just really shot me down. And we went back and forth for some time, but then I said, I tell you what, let me leave my number. And if Dr. Frazier's interested, he can give me a call back. She said, okay, you can leave your number, but why don't you try back in 6 months? But around 5 minutes later, my phone rang. I answered the phone. I heard airport noise in the back. He said, young man, this is George Frazier. I hear that you want to interview me. So, my heart is like jumping out of my chest right now. I said, yes, sir, Mr. Frazier. I want to interview you, but we can't do it like this. I need you to call into this 800 number. Then I call into this 800 number. It was a bridge line. And then I can interview you. He said, sure, I'll be in my office in around 20 minutes. We can do it then. That conference call line was freeconferencecall.com. He called in, I called in. We conducted the interview. We talked for about an hour and 45 minutes. Then I called down to Dr. Dennis Kimbrough's office. Same process. He called back, young man, this is Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. I hear you want to interview me. So he called in 1-800, this number again, this free conference call line, did the interview. Then I just kept going. Then it was Les Brown and then Kathy Hughes and Michael V. Roberts and Randall Pinkett. After he won The Apprentice, there was Lisa Nichols, and we just kept going on and on and on. Those first 12 interviews, though, we stopped, and then I said, let's get these transcribed. These were the audio. I took those MP3 audios and sent them over to a service that was just starting up then. It was called Fiverr.com. Had those MP3s transcribed, took those first 7 interviews, converted them into a PDF, put them up online, and called them. Now, remember, I was reading that book called Conversations with Millionaires. Now I call this Conversations with Black Millionaires. Sent the email out to my list, sold that report or this ebook. We were calling it ebook, and this was before Amazon, for $27. And people were buying it. Then I said, wow, so I'm going to keep following tape number 7. So I wrote up a quick press release. Headline, budding entrepreneur seeks millionaire advice and gets it. So now I'm getting all of these requests. And that was blackpr.com, my buddy and friend now, Dante Lee. Now I'm getting all of these requests from media outlets, local news stations. So every time I went to a local news station or a town, they would invite me in, or I did all of the XM satellite radio station shows on Black business and all of that. And they would ask me, well, what did George Frazier teach you? What did Les Brown teach you? And I would just tell them what they taught me. Then they would say, well, how do they get this ebook? All I got to do is go to conversationswithblackmillionaires.com. And it was on and popping. We literally sold tens of thousands of those downloads. So I want you to follow me real quick. First, I took my own knowledge, my expertise, my passion, something that I enjoyed doing, and I taught it, put it in a PDF document. And then I just interviewed and leveraged the knowledge and experience, the reach and the authority of other experts and thought leaders. And in this case, it was millionaires, but it doesn't have to be millionaires. It could just be other experts and thought leaders, or just people who know what the hell they're doing. And people want to learn. We're in this space now where people have come to the online world. Virtual learning is not just, that's not difficult to understand. That's a thing now. The entire world is learning virtually. So we sold those, and then we just kept going and started doing teleseminars and webinars. And now, fast forward to today, Now we're doing masterminds online and networks and membership sites and all of these different things that we've been doing for years now, but now it's becoming commonplace. So now that's what makes it $1 billion a day industry. And you should be getting a part of this. You should be taking your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, or your passion and packaging it and selling it online. And if it's not your knowledge or your hobby that you want to teach, I just told you how you can interview and partner and leverage other people. So I'm doing a workshop that I want you to come. I'm going to show you the power of virtual communities and networks and masterminds and how you can get those notification of payment received or new order place. You know, there's a bunch of different payment gateways now that have different terminology. So I want you to join me in my workshop. As soon as you get off of here, just find my workshop. And what I'm going to do is give you some more strategies. I'm going to share with you some tools or the tools that I use, and I'm going to answer your questions. We're going to try to build your information virtual empire right now, your notification of payment received empire in the workshop. In the interim, though, I want to make sure, because a lot of my friends that I've met over the years, I've started to profile them, and I'm doing case studies of over 50 of them. And if you want me to begin to send you these case studies where you can see all of the different business models that people are utilizing to make money in this virtual space, just go to www.thevirtualmillionaire.net, not .com, .net, thevirtualmillionaire.net. Okay, so I'll send you those case studies so that you can continue to feed yourself and learn how to do this yourself. But I want to thank you for sparing me a few minutes of your time. Again, come to the workshop. Let me answer your questions. All right. Look forward to seeing you in a few minutes. Talk soon. Take care.
Well, good day, good day, good day. My name is Obiama Martin, and I am the moderator for this panel discussion on what does it truly take to be successful. And I'm super excited to be joined by these three phenomenal queens, and we get to have this juicy conversation about what it means to be successful. You know, what I liked about this topic is that success is defined differently for each person, because what may be successful to me may not be successful to you. And so we get to have this conversation that is going to include, diversity and a well-rounded, a well-rounded opinion or representation, rather, from different backgrounds, whether it is industry or just socioeconomic status, which also includes the way that we were raised, because I'm sure, the way that you all were raised shaped your definition of success as well. And so I am really excited to have this conversation. And so just to kind of give you guys a little bit of information about myself. And so I go by the conscientious cash flow activist, because I care about how you bring money into your household. I've been a part of the Black CEO organization now for a little over 3 years, and it has been amazing, as I like to say, the opportunity where we are showcased, where we are highlighted, and where we get to lift our voice, and we don't have to wait to be invited, to a table, but the table is actually set for us. And so I really enjoy this organization and everything that this organization has to offer for us in the world, especially for us Black queens. And so without further ado, do round robin, and if you all can introduce yourself. And so I will start with you, Tasha. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and how you show up in the world.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Tasha Robinson White, and I grew up in Lansing, Michigan. I studied in college in Atlanta, Georgia at Spelman College and the Alliance Theater School. I currently live in Las Vegas. I've been here for 26 years, minus 2 of those years. I spent time abroad living in Cairo, Egypt. I am an innovative leader with a network of influence to empower others. I call myself the Vanguardian because I am in vanguard. I am the forefront of movement and action, and that's how I show up in my community. I'm a connector and a collaborator, and that I lean on that as my superpower. And I'm really excited to be here today.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, all right. All right, well, Angela, you're up next. Okay, we just lost Angela, so I'm going to go to Regina.
Hello, my name is Regina Nunnally, better known as the Preacher Kid Sensation, PK Sensation for short, if you follow me on Instagram. And I am a criminal defense attorney. I've been practicing for almost 18 years, but I'm also a mental wealth builder. And so I created an ecosystem of service called See the World Through My Eyes, LLC, where I endeavor to help people to see the world through a different perspective or new eyes. Because my belief is that a renewed mind creates a renewed lifestyle. Thank you.
Well, I love it.
I love that.
Me too.
Yes, yes, snapping it up. Yes, yes, absolutely. You know what the two of you do is just really amazing, and the way that you show up in the world, you know, we're just brilliance all day long. We just really are, and the way that we show up and how we decide to be the answer, you know, is really phenomenal. And so, with our first round of questions, I want you all to just answer, you know, what does success mean to you? What does it mean to be successful? And so this is twofold. So the first part of it is, as a child, what was your kind of thought or your definition about success? And then how has it changed as you have matured and you are a little older in life? I know for me, when I was a teenager, there was just things that I were not exposed to. So at 18, I can remember at 18 really being crystal clear that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I knew that. I didn't know the journey, but in my mind at 18, I kept telling myself by the age of 50, I'm going to be independently wealthy. Right. And so I didn't have it all laid out. I just knew, and I didn't know what that number was. I just knew that at 50, I was going to be independently wealthy. And what that meant for me was not being able to depend on anyone for anything, not depending on a 9 to 5. So it was less about a number and more about independence and freedom. And so I will start with you, Regina.
Well, my definition of success is and was forged with my father. I used to take Taekwondo when I was a teenager, and I was in it for about 2.5 years. And then I started to get that itch that most teenagers get. It's boring. The friends are not there anymore. The guy that I had a crush on, he stopped coming. And so now I was just like, I didn't want to do this anymore. So I told my father I wanted to quit. And so when I told him I wanted to quit, I thought I was going to get the fire and brimstone kind of thing, because my parents was all about, they don't like to throw away money. And so to my surprise, my daddy said, okay, you can go ahead and quit. And I was like, word, all right, okay, all right, the hell's all for it. But he put his butt in the way, and he said, but if you're going to quit, he said, give back all your trophies, give back your certificates, give back all the belts that you earned, because my instructor was an experienced kickboxer. He was that expert kickboxer. And so we had to spar and fight for our belts. We just didn't give them to us. So I told my dad, I was like, well, why you want me to give back all this stuff? And he said, because I don't want you reminded of the fact that you quit. You always look at those things And it will remind you of how far you went, but how short you came. And so from that day on, my mantra has been finish what you start. That's my definition of success. Finish what you start. You get up in the morning, you get through the day, that's a success story. If you finish your goal, whatever that is, and you come out sane, to me, that's success. And that really hasn't changed over my period of time. It has not changed. It's been my mantra forever to, put my hands to the plow, don't look back, keep focused, and get across that finish line.
What an invaluable lesson. That's priceless. That is absolutely priceless. And, it just made me think of too oftentimes how we don't have that opportunity to have lessons like that. And so what happens is we kind of make a whole lot of mistakes along the way because nobody never told us, whether it was a parent or a mentor, or whatever. And that was such a great lesson. That was such a great lesson. So thank you so much for sharing it. Like that was really, really awesome. All right, Tasha.
So I have a couple of different definitions for success. One, first of all, success is a mindset altogether. It's personal and it's a mindset. I have a coach, Sherry Riley, who was coined the quote, basically, peace is the new success. And I basically embrace that because being peaceful and being happy should be where your success begins. Now, early on in life, I thought success was what everyone else thought success was for me. I didn't look at it like it was personal. I was going to be successful because I worked with these individuals and I helped build other people's success. But during that time, I wasn't at peace. So therefore, I needed to pull back and find out what success looked like for me, opposed to what success looked like for everyone else. And then when I learned what that looked like, and I started to embrace what my own personal superpowers were, that's when I became at peace with it. And like yourself, I had my dad in my life too, and I never wanted to disappoint them. So what they thought success was, go away to college, graduate from high school, go away to college, get your degree and go into whatever field you decide to go into. And that was success to them. Well, in that era, of course, that was successful because at that time, a lot of African Americans were not going to college. So that was a privilege. So when I actually went to college, I stopped in the middle of college and I took a dive into starting my career. Not my highlight. However, it definitely made me at peace with what I was doing. I wasn't spending my parents' money on, on something that, I wasn't really into at that particular time. So success to me is just being at peace with yourself and being able to look yourself in the mirror and know who's looking back at you. So that's my definition.
I love that. I often say, when you look in the mirror, who do you see looking back at you? And are you proud of the person that you see looking back at you? And so that's really important with both you ladies, Regina and Tasha, have said, with Regina, you just talking about finish what you start. And so oftentimes, procrastination and distractions and all of those things prevent us from finishing strong, prevent us, from just keeping our word and doing what we said that we set out to do. And then with you, Tasha, peace is paramount. Right? Because at the end of the day, we do a whole lot of stuff for a whole lot of people. And sometimes that can be overwhelming where you don't even get an opportunity to enjoy the fruit of your labor because you're so busy being busy, but not being productive. So that was really good. So Angela, the question was, what is your definition of success?
My. I must tell you, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I guess it's just one of those things that happen. So recovering from that. Success, my parents, they are not here any longer, but they lived through some pretty amazing perilous times Jim Crow, getting off the sidewalk when a white woman came past, lynchings. I could go on, but I won't. And they were 30 years ahead of me because they adopted us, and we were very blessed in a red state of Indiana to be adopted, period. And if you know the history of Indiana, the KKK, I could go on about that, but I won't. So my definition of success really it carries over from their definition of success. And that is, if you have a home, a successful marriage. I'm single, but if you have a successful marriage and you have children, I have 5,000 plus students, and I have nieces and nephews that I helped raise who are now in their 20s, they're millennials, you know what that means. It's a beautiful thing. But success is really passing on your history and her story and getting them to talk about it as excitedly as you do. That would be of anything, learning to embrace our story and telling it and getting the young people to tell it better than us. So.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so I like to say, so I'm an educator. That's one of the hats that I wear. And so I tell my staff every day, if you didn't have to write an incident report, on the back. Because at the end of the day, it's the small things that matter. It's not always superficial or materialistic things, and to your point, like, having peace or just being safe and finishing what you start, it's really about those non-negotiable things. Our standards, our values, our, mission, those innate things that we hold sacred,
Yes.
that you cannot put a price on. Is there a time, and anyone can start with this question, has there ever been a time in your life when you felt unsuccessful?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Regina.
Oh, yes. I'm a retired educator, so I know I'm jumping ahead. I'm a retired educator. My father was an educator as well. My father taught dental school. To the HBCU sister, I apologize. I missed the conversation, Miss Regina. I missed your opening. I started hearing Miss Tasha's, and so I'm an HBCU grad as well. I'm up the street at Fisk University. And so I'm excited about that. But my father was a Meharry grad, and he came to Indianapolis and he taught at the Indiana University School of Dentistry, and I became a chemistry teacher. And so African-American women in the sciences is interesting, especially when you're teaching chemistry and biology, microbiology, because there's not tons of us. There are a number of us, but not tons of us. And so, sometimes, you think you're successful and then something happens and you're not as successful. And it's not because I didn't think I was successful. It is because the people who perceived me being in that position felt like I was unsuccessful because they felt like I was unqualified because I was not and did not them exactly. So I broke the mold and was extremely successful with my students. But from a perceptive point of view, my colleagues didn't think so because I didn't look like who they thought I should look like and remain with them and earn tenure. This was in a high school, just to give you a background. So.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Go ahead, Tasha.
Yeah.
So for me, yes, often. I have been unsuccessful often. However, I embrace that as not so much unsuccess, but more lessons, life lessons. So back in 2010, I decided to go into business for myself, my first time really going into business for myself. And I opened a celebrity consignment boutique and salon. Yeah, a lot, right? So I had it all planned out in my head. I had the resources, I had the money, I had the celebrity that my friends were willing to donate. I had the support of the community. I had everything. I mean, it was a win-win situation, but then it wasn't, because what I did not have was a plan. And so I went in business for 3 years, riding off all my money that I invested in and my celebrity resources and the community coming in, but I had no plan. I literally was winging it every single day. And after 3 years, it was like, okay, I no longer can wing this anymore. And I actually had to close my business. And that was an unsuccessful situation. But from that situation, whoa, I mean, I learned so much, so many valuable lessons. So when I look at it being an unsuccessful, it was unsuccessful business that I had, but it was very successful lessons that I learned. So yes, so I tend to embrace those.
Yeah, yeah. As I was listening to you, I was thinking you failed forward.
Mm.
You failed forward. And
Yep.
I also say to situations like that, that was the cost of tuition,
Mm-hmm.
right? That
Yes.
was the cost of tuition.
Right,
And
right.
because you paid that, you don't have to ever learn that again.
No. I only needed one whooping.
You don't have to learn that again. You don't have to learn that again.
Right.
So thank you for sharing that. Go ahead, Regina.
Well, I want to say, duh, yes, I've been. That's part of life. You fall short. I've been unsuccessful. I failed the bar exam when I took the bar to be licensed as an attorney from Florida, and fell in the bar exam. Yes, I felt like a scrub. I really felt truly less, because I went through a lot to get in law school, and I went through a lot to get through law school, and now I'm out and I didn't pass the bar. I don't have that first time story that a lot of attorneys have, but that's not my story. So, and so when I did get the results back, I sat down and I prayed and I said, Lord, give me a plan to pass this bar. And so he gave me a plan. And basically I had to go back to square one, get back into the books, be more conscientious and detailed, and add things. And this is about 2 months of studying 6 hours a day for a 2-day, 12-hour exam. And it was do or die. Got student loans to pay back. I needed a job. I don't have time for all this. I don't have time for this. And so I stuck to the script. I did exactly what the Lord told me to do. I prayed Joshua 1:9 when I studied. I prayed Joshua 1:9 when I ended. And when I went into that exam, I said, God, I don't want no curve. I want to get this. I missed the first one by 3 points.
Wow.
3 points I missed the bar exam. I said, these yahoos couldn't find 3 points anywhere. Oh my gosh. So I went and said, I don't want no curve. I want to get this thing without no help. For real. I'm just being for real with you. And when I went in, I was able, you had the cutoff was 131. I got a 147. And I got exactly what I asked for. I didn't need the curve for it. If I did, I still would have made it. So yes, that was a learning curve for me, that I realized that you can't go in without a plan. You got to go in and you got to be consistent. You got to stick to it. And there were obstacles, but I stayed the course and I got there.
Oh, what a great transition to the next question. Like, kudos to you. And so as I was listening to you, I was thinking about the scripture that says, study to show thyself approved. And, you know, a lot of times I think that's taken out of context, because what it really means is that whatever it is that you're doing, you have to study to show yourself. It's not about you showing other people. You have to show yourself that you're worthy, right? And so as you said about mindset, we have to study to prove to ourselves. We have to do the work so that when we open up our mouth or when we show up in the world, we can have the confidence because we did the work. And to your point, nobody gave it to us, right? We didn't cheat to get it. We didn't, manipulate anybody. And, to your point, Angela, you put in the work, and regardless of what you look like and what obstacles you face, they couldn't deny your brilliance. They couldn't deny that you showed up and you showed out and you didn't back down. They couldn't deny that. right? And so my next question to you guys is the habits and the mindset that's required to be successful, because anything that we do in life, it absolutely requires a mindset, because defeat is easy. It's easy to just be like, oh, woe is me, I didn't do it, or even to create this narrative that's not true about ourselves and start saying, you know, Angela, you could have said, well, they don't like me because I'm Black. They don't like me because I'm this. Like you could have created all this narrative. Oh, they didn't accept me, and you know, you
Right.
all of this stuff. And even though it may have some validity, right, it does not have to dictate your future. And so when we think about what it means to be successful and the mindset
Yes.
and the habits you have to have, you really have to have this posture that I'm not going to back down. Like, even if I fell, and like you, Regina, there was a certification that I needed to take. I'm in Pennsylvania, you guys, and so I'm a certified trainer in Pennsylvania, and there was a test that I had to take to go from being an affiliate instructor to a certified instructor for the state. And I failed that test 3 times. And so the first time the narrative was their prejudice. that was the first narrative, because I only knew people that looked like me that was failing. I didn't know nobody else that had failed. And it cost me money to, you know, take this test. And I had all the experience and everything. And when I got my scores back, it was a couple of points, and it was subjective. It was a panel of people that was reviewing, you know, the content that I had submitted, and they decided to take points off because of punctuation. Oh my goodness. I was like, are you kidding me? And so it took me, I think I first applied for the exam in 2010, and I did not get my certification until 2014. And I absolutely felt defeated. I felt like, what's the point? Yep. 3 times I took it, 3 times, you know, I paid the money. And when I finally passed it, at this point, I said, I'm going to get it. And I was in my master's program, and I enlisted my professors who had PhDs. I said, you have to look at this material, because clearly I'm missing it. So help me. Because help me, because I'm trying to figure it out. I know that I'm brilliant, right? And I've been training for a very long time. So there's no reason why I should be failing, you know, this exam. And so it wasn't until I decided to change my mindset around if they're against me and all of this other stuff. And then I started talking to other people that didn't look like me and found out that it wasn't a Black thing, that it was a subjective thing, and they were being subjective across the board. So when I started hearing, you know, other individuals say they felt as well, I was like, okay, then it's not just me. So let me change that narrative. Let me change that narrative. Let me create a new narrative, and let me really apply myself and get help. And once I applied myself and got the help, when I submitted it the 3rd time, I passed, you know. And I'm telling you, I never felt so, passing that was more important to me. And ladies, I have 2 master's degrees, and passing this exam was more important to me than my master's. And it was just like, because I felt like I had something to prove to me, you know? So, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so go ahead. Anybody can start with the question. So let me say the question again in case you guys got I'm going on and on. But so the question was, you know, what are the habits? What is the mindset that you feel it took for you to maintain a level of success or to have success and to be successful today?
You know what we found, and I think all of our CEOs here will agree that to become an entrepreneur and to be president of your own organization, and I do own a business. I'm a retired educator, but I do own a business. And that is, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent when it's snowing outside. You have to be consistent when it's raining outside. You have to be consistent when your family is just, calling you for everything but the right thing. You have to be consistent when your friends have decided, I just need everything from you today. You just have to be consistent. And you have to do those self-talks, just like Miss Martin, you were saying, when you look in the mirror and you go, hey, I've got 2 masters and I haven't passed this test, and Miss Tasha said, well, I own a business and I'm running well for 3 years. And then all of a sudden I hit this wall, but I've got all these great people who support me. And Miss Regina, you said, oh my God, I didn't pass the bar. That's unacceptable. I can't believe this. That's not going to work for me. And so, what I would say is that being consistent at those things, first of all, that you're really, really good at. And then secondly, taking on things, 2 or 3 things that you are absolutely afraid of, but overcoming them and being consistent with those. And once you do that, that success comes. And sometimes you don't even realize you've been successful because you were so busy about the business of trying to get there that you didn't celebrate along the way. And I can tell you, it took me, honestly, in order to teach chemistry, there's 2 tests here in my state. I'm in Indiana, and National Teachers Exam, which was a long time ago. They don't call it that any longer. Passed that, no problem. But then it was time to take that 2-day chemistry test. And that chemistry test is on a PhD level. And I said, oh, now I know I'm past this. It took me about 7 times. 7 times. And I can tell you that hurt my ego, but I got over it quick. And to that, I now have, students, one who's one of the great 8. I'm sure you've heard of the 8 sisters who finished their doctorate all on the same day. One of those, one of my students. I have a student who started his own school, who majored in chemistry, who got his MBA, who's getting his doctorate. I have another student who's created her own school. She's, and I looked at those 7 times. They don't mean anything now because I look at all of the success. And those are just a few of the successes. That's not all the successes. Now what I'm doing at my age, I'm counting the number of PhDs that are coming about from the kids who I met when they were 15. Now I get to call them doctor this and doctor that. But what it says is, I told them, here's a dream. I architected. That's what educators do. And now I'm counting them up. And now they're leading. They're running the show. Their father told me, I want to live long enough to see you make more money than me. And that's what I tell them. I want to live long enough to see you make more money than me and to do better and be better than me. So being consistent.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent. Awesome. All right, Regina.
Well, Angela stole some of my stuff, so.
Great
No,
minds.
it's yours.
Great minds
Take it
think
back.
alike.
It's yours. Take it back.
But great minds think alike. I just want to make sure. Okay. Well, thank you. As I'm listening, and what's coming to me, the revelation is coming to me when it comes to habits. We have to remain a student. We don't have to. You can't think you've made it. As an attorney, we always go through what they call continual legal education courses. We have to stay on top of things. We have to educate ourselves, even off the record when we see some publications, be willing to be a student, always learning, keeping your mind open. Because I post on Facebook, they say a closed mouth don't get fed. I said, well, a closed mind don't get fed either. So you got to keep your mind open and also being fluid. And they say, practice make perfect, but practice make a habit. So you have to practice what you preach. So you have to be consistent. You need to be humble. You need to be willing to learn from others, even if they're not your age. I have a mentor who's 10 years younger than me, but he's an expert at something that I'm not. So I have to exercise the habit of humility, listening to good teaching and people who have an expertise in the area that I'm trying to go into, and know your worth. You got to know your worth. And that's part of the habit. Don't take everything that comes to you. I get a revelation I received by watching my mama's cat, Gray. There's a difference between starving and being hungry. And my mom's cat, Gray, was loved. He had a family. He had people who loved him. But there's this other cat I call Cat Sheba that used to show up and eat up all his food. And my mama couldn't stand Cat Sheba. But I said, Mama, she's a stray. She just acting who she is, you know what she is. And the revelation came to me is that I knew when I left that food out, I knew that if the food tray was empty, it was Cat Sheba. It wasn't Gray, because Gray was hungry, but he ate enough to fulfill his desire. But Cat Sheba ate everything. And so one of the things that I'm learning a habit of is being hungry, but don't be starving, because if hungry, I'm picky. I can eat, take what I need and be done with it. But people who starving, they'll take anything that comes along. They'll want everybody on their team. They'll take all kinds of stuff. They have no filter. They'll snatch everything and everything. They don't have any boundaries. And so that's one of the things I encourage anyone to do. You know, there's nothing wrong with having stuff, but don't be to the point where you just take anything that's given to you. You got to know your worth.
Absolutely.
Amen to that. Amen. Well said. Well, I love that analogy with the two cats. Did you guys see that visual? Like, I saw the cat. I saw the cat. You see the cat being, when you talk about, you know, being hungry, but eating just enough, because you're also comfortable and content and satisfied, so you don't have to overindulge. You're not dealing with gluttony, nor are you like, oh, I gotta get it all. I gotta get it all. You're like, no, whatever I need, I have, and if I need more, I know where to go to get it. Right. Yes. So I love that. And then to your point, the stray, it represents so many different things, because not only does that stray have no home, but the stray also don't know where the next meal is going to come from. So that's why the stray is eating up everything, because that cat has also a scarcity mentality, because that cat don't know what it's like to have more than enough.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Girl, stop. Right, these notes. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
She don't own any cats, so that was definitely your story. I didn't steal a thing.
Now, great minds think alike. That's good. That's good. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Well, as I sit here on this panel, ladies, I am learning while I am expressing with you all. So I echo both of what you both said. I have to lean towards what Regina was saying. I stay actively learning as well, reading, attending events, pretty much investing in personal development. That's really, really important. I mean, we all invest in getting our hair and nails done and travel and all these other things. Like, if you're not investing in learning and educating yourself, I think that's a habit that everyone should continue learning, because when you're not learning, you're not living. And I really, appreciate this, and just constant learning. Continue to build on your craft. Don't remain teachable. And then also continue to share your information with others, because one day you will not be here. And so when you give a nugget or two that you've learned to someone else, they're going to remember you by that. It's not what you give them, it's what you share with them that resonates with people. So I truly feel as you learn, definitely share your knowledge as well. So that's the habit I'm going to continue to create, and I'm going to continue to perpetuate and pass down, and keep learning and keep sharing, keep learning and keep sharing, because things do change. And if you're not actively learning, you're going to miss the change, so we hit a pandemic last year, right? And everyone got sat down. So, we all had to change. We all had to pivot. All the habits that we already had to change. Our mindset had to change. So having a routine and a habit is definitely necessary, but also knowing how to pivot when you have to.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That pivot is
Pivot.
important. That pivot is important. I oftentimes say, well, I have a whole lot of things that I say. And so with that though, I tell people that it's important that you remain flexible and fluid so that you can pivot with ease.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, that's really important because life is always changing.
Yes.
Things are always changing, but your goals need to be rooted in mold while your plans remain flexible. And what that simply means is that you're not so much married to the plan that when an opportunity that is better than what you thought that you wanted or needed present itself, that you are unwilling to pivot because you're so you're so stuck on this one thing that you miss the opportunity that something better
Right.
has presented itself. And so mindset is really, really important. And just, all of the things that you all have said when it comes down to what does it really take? At our core, what does it really take? And something that I heard that we all have in common is that we've all failed many a times. Right? We did not allow our failure to dictate our forward movement. Right. What we did was we allowed our failure to springboard us forward. We did not allow our failure to change how we saw ourselves, but we allowed our failure to fuel us to continue to move on and to continue to push forward. And so we did not accept defeat. We refused to back down. We understood that this was a delay, but it was not the final destination. It was just a delay, and it was an indicator that we were not prepared at that time for the journey. And we needed to go back and get some more learning. Absolutely. We needed to go back and get some more learning. And so, ladies, our final thoughts, I want you to share with the listening audience. What are three things, if you could, three things to kind of sum it up, whether it is mindset, habit, or lesson learned, or maybe things nobody ever told you that you would say, if you want to be successful, these are the three non-negotiable things that I practice or that's a part of what I do that I recommend to all of those that listen to me, follow me, coach with me, whatever that is. What are those three non-negotiable things for you when it comes to success? So I'll start with you, Angela.
How did I know? Three things. Number one, age is just a number. And so one of my mantras, I just turned 60. I don't know if I look 60. I hope not.
You don't look nowhere near 60.
Good. Because I want to tell you, I'm running on the track with my athletes now, 10 and they're 15. So number one, age is just a number. And so you've got to keep a young mindset, whatever that is, 10, 20, 15, 30, whatever, but have the wisdom of your age. Number two, I'll do things, I'll think about it, trust me. But sometimes I'll do things and apologize later for having done something that's outside of the rectangle, the square, in the universe. And three, don't be afraid to be different. Whatever that is, everybody's different is indigenous to them, and God gave it to you. And when it's your time to leave, that dash between when you were born and when your time to leave, you should have developed all of that, because you've been given so many gifts, and you got to make them into talents, and you got to learn how to make them turn into $1 or $1 million. So. Yes. I really want to thank everybody. I've enjoyed this. Ms. Martin, you've been an amazing hostess with the mostest, and especially during Black History Month. This has just been such a gift to be on with Ms. Tasha and Attorney Regina. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Regina, What's your top three?
Well, I would say my top three. First, you have the purpose in your heart. In other words, make up your mind. This is what you're going to do. And we call it go all in. It's either, do or die or whatever the case may be, but you need to make up your mind. This is what you're going to do. Number two, I would say that faith without works is dead. So it's good to know, to have the confidence, but you got to put the work in. You got to do what it takes. It's not going to just drop into your lap and then it's going to just flourish. You have to do some sowing and planting. There's some tilling that has to be done. So, so you got to work to work. You got to follow through, take action. And number three, I would say, like I said, my idea of success, finish what you start. No matter what comes your way, you have to be realistic. Challenges are going to come. Tribulations are going to come. And they come not to hurt you, but it really to either expose the area that you're weak in, or and make you stronger. And so be realistic when you go into things. Things are going to happen. Challenges are going to come. But if you already made up in your mind and you're going to work this thing, and I'm gonna finish what I start, you can be like a Sherman tank, mow them down, jump the fence, go under the fence, do what you got to do, walk, crawl, whatever you have to do, get across that finish line. All right. And you can say, job well done.
All right. Okay, Tasha.
Well, my three are basically, one is to find out what your superpower is, find out what that is. And a lot of people don't know what that is. So find out what your superpower is. Another one is don't hesitate to reset your mindset if you need to. A lot of times we get so set on some things and then it doesn't work out that way, the way that we want it to. So resetting your mindset should be something that's not shunned upon, but so don't hesitate to reset your mindset, because your mindset is not a destination or an event, it's a process. And number three, I have the best tribe. And I think knowing your tribe and having a really good tribe, especially as queens out here, knowing someone that's going to straighten your crown when it's crooked, speak and cry with, laugh with, celebrate your wins, no matter how big or small they are. So yeah, and I'm enjoying this as well, ladies. I feel like I met three new sisters today, and I'm ecstatic about just being a part of Iconic.
Awesome. Okay, so how can people follow you? How can people follow you if they want to get more involved with what you do, or just because you guys are just absolutely phenomenal. I know that, Angela, I know that you connected with me. You started following me on Instagram, and I'm going to follow you back. And same thing with you, Regina and Tasha. I absolutely feel like I've gained three new sisters as well. Your stories are absolutely amazing. And I'm glad that we've had this opportunity to share and learn about each other, because not only is it Black History Month, but I was just thinking the other day that while we have so many great people to, great examples from way back when, we don't do enough of highlighting the sheroes today. We don't do enough in highlighting the living epistles, today.
Right.
And so, and that's who you guys represent, that's who you guys represent, because you are the one that somebody said couldn't, shouldn't, wouldn't.
Right.
Right. Right. You're right.
That's who you are. That's what you represent. And so because you made a decision, I'm not going to allow the status quo or the statistic or the whatever define me. I'm going to show up for me.
Right.
Show up for me. And so for me, that's really what success is all about. And so I have this thing called Breathe. And Breathe is an acronym, and it's really about you, number one, believing in yourself and believing in the God that created you. Number two is about you being able to release negative things and people. right, on a daily basis, because it's those negative people, places, and things that can keep you bound and paralyze you in your thinking. I always say, embrace what is, because when you don't embrace what is, you don't know what you're leaving on the table. You don't know what you're missing out on. So again, going back to being fluid and flexible, you have to be open to what's possible. The next is acceptance. You have to accept the fact that you can't change people. So when we talk about being successful, you have to, when people, Maya Angelou said it best, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Believe them the first time. And so with that, it comes with acceptance, especially because we're CEOs, which means that we have staff, which means we employ people, which means that we work with a whole lot of different people, a whole lot of different personalities. And when they show you who they are, don't create a narrative about that person because you see potential. We suffer from what I like to call the savior syndrome. We're nobody.
Yes.
We can't even save ourselves. We need to just accept what is and accept that there are things that we're never going to be able to change or control, and be okay with it. Right? The next thing is you want to take action, because when you know better, you have to do better. If you don't do better, if you don't take that knowledge, then it's just knowledge. It's not powerful until you take action on it and make it manifest into this dream, or as you said, Angela, monetize it, right? That's when it comes, for real. And then you gotta heal, right? When we talk about being successful, brokenness, there's no place for brokenness when it comes to success. Right? You have to do that inner work, which means that you have to also emotionally heal. You have to heal from past relationships in business, family relationships, friendships, all that kind of stuff. Because when you don't, it interferes with your ability to have successful relationships.
Absolutely.
It interferes with your ability to connect in a meaningful way. So you have to do that work as well, not just the academics, but 360, the social, the emotional, the physical, your health, all of those kind of things. The fact that you're running at the age of 60 and you're running with young people says so much, because the vitality, that you have, and the commitment to have that stability and to have the stamina to say, regardless of my age, there's so much still left in me. I'm going to go to my grave empty. So I love it. Right? I'm going to go to my grave empty. I'm not going to my grave with any dreams unfulfilled, right? So, and it's also about the legacy that you all are creating, right? And then the last thing is you have to elevate. You can't stay complacent and comfortable. You have to always be striving to be better. Because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
That's right. That's right.
And so that is what I define success to be: your ability to breathe. So I thank you, ladies. I thank you for being a part of this iconic panel, and you guys are absolutely iconic. And thank the Black CEO, Trevor and Spalding, and the whole team for even putting something like this together. Make sure you all stay connected, because there are so many more opportunities for us to network, to collaborate, and to leverage each other's brilliance. And I am really excited about what's to come, as a result of these new relationships. So I want you to continue to be great. I want you guys to continue to be fruitful, productive, and profitable. And so we are signing off again. Thank you, ladies, again, and continue to be iconic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting everybody. Keep crushing it.
Keep crushing it.
1, 2, 3. If you're still in the place to be, do me a favor. Put hashtag iconic in the feed. Put hashtag iconic in the feed. And why, you might be asking? Well, my friends, you have been listening to iconic speakers all day. You have received iconic information all day, and you are iconic entrepreneurs. So it is only right that you put hashtag iconic in the feed. In addition to that, I want you to continue to share this out. Make sure that you tell a friend, have them to join in to Black CEO's premier event for 2021, Iconic. In addition to that, I'd like to share with you somebody that I know that has been iconic in our past. Back in 1906, an iconic entrepreneur named O.W. Gurley bought 40 acres of land. And O.W. Gurley sold that land to other Black entrepreneurs. Watch this. Collaboration brought about elevation in that community. Collaboration can still bring about elevation in this community, but it will require you to be iconic, just like O.W. Gurley. And that community that he helped to build, that he helped to spurn, later became known as Black Wall Street. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is our time, and this is the moment to create the new Black Wall Street. But first, you've got to be an iconic entrepreneur and make sure that your collaboration is intentional so that you can bring about elevation not only to your business, but to the community around you as well. So let's get ready for the last part of the day of our Digital Mastery Bootcamp, brought to you by the CEO and founder, Trevor Otts, and the Black CEO family. We salute you, we celebrate you, and we appreciate the fact that you have been with us this long. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7 is going to build on what we have started here today. So tell a friend, join on in, and continue to be a part of the Black CEO, Black and Iconic Conference.
Hello and welcome to Just Ask the Blueprint. I am Fagiana James, also known as the branding coach and CEO of the Ask Group Incorporated, where we pride ourselves on being one company with many solutions. Thank you so much for joining this workshop today. So let's jump in. So we want to get started with talking about business startup. We're going to spend a lot of time here today on the business startup side of your business, for we all know that the foundation of anything is most important. When you're building a building, the foundation, if the foundation is solid, it shall stand for a very long time. So let's get started with the business startup. What's the big idea? What is your thought? What is that one thing that you really want to do more than anything else in the world? And then you becoming an entrepreneur, you now have this grand idea. You have this service or this product that you wish to offer. That is the first question that you should ask, along with, again, what are the thoughts that have been swimming in your head? How do you want to make this idea come to life? How will it attract consumers? Who are your potential consumers? Who are you targeting? Who will be your audience? Who will be the ones that you will actually go forth and offer this service or product to? What effect would you like for it to have? And is there a need or demand for what is being offered, which is very, very important, because you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're going to offer to society, offer to the consumer, offer to your client, that there is a need for it and that the market isn't already oversaturated with the exact same thing. And we're going to get more into that as well in making you stand out. The first key component of your business startup is your business plan. There are key components to the business plan, which consists of the title page, which will begin with the name of your business, or which is harder than it sounds, okay? Shakespeare, I think, said, "What is in a name?" In most cases, people don't believe that a name has a true identity until there's something attached to it, okay? That people can identify with it. A person is attached to a name. So you're going to start with the name of your business, okay? Then you're going to also have your executive summary. This is a high-level summary of what the plan includes. It also includes the description of your company, the product, the service that you're going to offer. You can also include in this executive summary the members of your team, those persons who you have brought aboard to help you see this vision out. And they also come with a skill set to assist in the overall building and growing of your business. You have your business description. What kind of business do you want to start? What does the industry current look like for this particular business or service or product? And what will it look like in the future? You also have market strategies as a key component of your business plan. What is your target market? Who is your target market? And how can you best sell to that market over time? Then you have the competitive analysis. This deals with the strengths and weaknesses of your competitors and how you will beat them. How will you become number one in this particular industry compared to those who's already doing it? You have your design and development plan. What is your product or service and how will it develop? Then create a budget for that product or service. Having a budget in place is very, very important. We're going to kind of get into that a little bit further as we go forth in this presentation. And then you have the operations and management plan. This deals with the day-to-day functionality of your business from start to finish, from open to close, and even some of those after-hour planning or events that take place. Then we also have finance factors. Where's the money coming from? When is the money coming? How is the money coming? And what sort of projections should you create? And what should you take into consideration over time? We have to consider the cost. It costs to be the boss, right? So we have to always consider our startup costs. You have things such as office space, you have inventory, you have communications, you have market research, you have advertising and marketing to consider, you have insurance and certain licenses and permits to also consider when starting a business. Do you have the funds to actually start this business based on what's listed here? Starting a business can average a range anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000 just to start. And that depends on how big or how small you want to begin. What is your business structure? Are you a sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation, or limited liability company? Or do you also want to be a nonprofit organization? The legal structure of your business will actually be based upon how the setup is. So if you're a sole proprietorship, it's you and only you. The book starts and ends with you. Everything begins and ends with you. Okay? You are solely responsible for all the company's profits as well as their debts. In a partnership, it's owned by two or more individuals, which carries a dual status between a sole proprietorship and a limited liability partnership. Which this actually depends on the entity's funding and liability structure. You have the limited liability company. It's a structure that allows owners, partners, or shareholders to limit their personal liabilities while having the tax and flexibility benefits of a partnership. Then you have a corporation. Corporations is an entity separate from its owners altogether. It has its own legal rights. It's independent of its owners. It can sue, be sued, own and sell property, and sell the rights of ownership in the forms of stocks. So again, with the corporation, it keeps you completely separate from your business. And then you have nonprofit corporations, which exist to help others in some way and are rewarded by tax exemption. They are formed for charitable purposes. And typically, again, it benefits the public. And they're typically funded or they are geared towards education, church structures, veterans, and again, just things that are going to actually better suit the society. Register your business is the next step in your startup. It's official. When your company has been registered, through your Secretary of State, and you now have your Articles of Incorporation, and you also have your employee identification number through the IRS. You are official. You are a bona fide company. You can operate and function in full capacity with these two things in place. So again, you will be recognized as an official business entity once you have registered with the government. The Articles of Incorporation include your business name, your business purpose, your corporate structure, stock details, and other information about your company. Your employee identification number, while this is not required for sole proprietorships with no employees, you may want to apply for one anyway to keep your personal and business taxes separate, or simply to save yourself the trouble later on if you decide to hire someone else. Again, another benefit for the EIN is the fact that it keeps your personal Social Security number out of the equation, because now you're functioning under the tax ID number for your business. So everything is funneled through there. So if anything were to happen with the business, it does not affect you personally, depending on your overall business structure. Commercial insurance. Oftentimes when someone is starting a business, they lay insurance to the side. They feel like I can get it later. I don't have a need for it right now. It's always best to make sure that you secure insurance up front, okay? There are various types of business insurance. The most common is general liability insurance, which can be used for any type of business. Okay, it covers injury, property damage, medical expenses, libel, slander, lawsuits. In most cases, if you are a company, let's say you're an event planning company, you want to use someone's facility for an event, they will not let you in their space without you at least having general liability insurance of at least $1 million. And trust me, business insurance is far less expensive than regular car insurance or life insurance, things like that. It's very, very affordable. But you also have product liability insurance, professional liability insurance, which covers malpractice, errors, and negligence. You have commercial property insurance, home-based business insurance, and business owners policies as well. I highly encourage that you look into these different types of insurance and make sure that if you currently do not have business insurance, that you take care of that as soon as possible. Next, you want to consider building your dream team. Depending on how your company is set up, you may be a one-person show, which means everything starts and stops with you, or you may actually have the need for a team. There are some key tips in building your dream team. To make sure that you have the perfect fit, you want to consider or make sure that you state your goals clearly. This is whether you are actually hiring an employee or an independent agent. Make sure that everyone understands the vision and their role within the mission from the very start, so there is no misunderstanding about the mission and the goals of the company, so that everyone can be on the same page and abide. Follow all hiring protocols. When starting the hiring process, you need to take a lot of things into consideration, from screening people to asking the right questions and having the proper forms. Does this person actually require an application or an independent agent agreement? All right. Establish a strong company culture. What makes a great culture? What are some of the building blocks? A great culture is more about respecting and empowering employees through multiple channels, including training and mentorship, than it is about decor or ping pong tables. Okay. So culture of a company is the actual environment, the atmosphere that's been set there for those who are a part of your team. Next, we have financial planning. Make sure that you start this early on, planning for the future of your business financially. The groundwork to sound financial planning: determine whether you have business credit on file with Dun & Bradstreet. Establish a business credit history by using lines of credit associated with your business. Pay your bills on time and understand other factors that influence your credit rating. Keep your credit files current and monitor for rating changes. Now, I mentioned Dun & Bradstreet with the first bullet. Through Dun & Bradstreet, you can actually establish business credit, okay? And the scoring system is very slighted than your personal credit. However, there's still a credit score system in place for your business. You paying your bills on time or not will affect your credit score with Dun & Bradstreet. So when you go to apply for a business loan, when you go to get equipment loans, when you want to lease a building, they typically ask you for your tax ID and your Dun & Bradstreet or your DUNS number, so they can actually run your business credit. All right. Keep your credit files current and monitor for rating changes. Know your customers and vendors' credit standings as well, because they can affect your business credit also. Prove you're financially responsible with a business credit report. If you've already applied for a DUNS number, you can get a business credit report from Dun and Bradstreet. Review your business credit file to make sure it's accurate before sharing it. Again, it's the same thing with your personal credit. You want to make sure that you constantly have that you have reviewed your business credit to make sure that there is no outstanding debts there, that your bills are being paid on time, and that there is nothing that's adverse that can affect the future processes of you having to apply for a loan or receive funding. Determine how much your company is worth today by performing a business valuation. This is the same process you go through if you were planning to sell your business. It's the same process you go through if you're trying to buy a house or buy a car. You want to make sure that you have a solid foundation when it comes to your financials as well as for your credit. Show how your business will grow in the future with the forecast. Your business forecast can be based on intuitive judgment, quantitative analysis, or both. Show your projected revenue and expenses and clearly explain how you arrive at those estimations. Again, this piece can also be shown in your business plan, okay? And typically, in most cases, when you're trying to apply for a loan or you're trying to lease a building or buy a building, they're going to ask to see your business plan. So these details should also be there as well. Let the world know who you are through marketing and branding. Now, once you have the solid foundation in place, it is time to let everyone know who you are. Okay. So that comes through branding and marketing. Now, one thing that I always tell my clients is you are your brand. You personally, the individual, also is a reflection of your company, the brand, or your product within your company. Okay. In the marketing advertising world, branding consists of the name of your company, your logo, your tagline. Again, for the Ask Group, it's one company with many solutions. You can live up to your mission and to your motto. It consists of your fonts and the colors of your business as well, the personality, and again, the reputation. The marketing piece comes in with marketing campaigns, doing inbound, outbound advertising, having other offers, using various media channels to market your business, promotions, sales calls, search engine optimization, in some cases having leads. Those are all marketing pieces that you will actually engage in over time. For an example, with McDonald's, we know that gold M, that's McDonald's. Also, if you've been visiting McDonald's lately and their ice machine is constantly broken and not working, and you want an ice cream cone, even if it is cold, that big M, that arch is related to the ice cream machine probably isn't working today. Okay. Nike with the white check mark, the swoosh. You know, without having said the word Nike, that's a Nike logo, that's a Nike brand. You typically know that if you're going to buy Nike, you know what you're going to get. That's the reputation of the company. Things to know when you're dealing with branding and marketing. Who is your target market? What is your goal? What is your marketing budget? It is very important that you have a marketing budget. There are a lot of marketing or advertising that you can do at no cost. However, if you want a quicker acceleration in marketing, in branding, in getting your name out there and letting the world know who you are, typically you're going to have to put some money behind it. So make sure that you have a marketing budget in place. What is your message? What are your marketing channels? We'll jump into that again, what that looks like. And what are your creatives? What are you going to use to market your business? Advertising and marketing streams consist of print media, newspaper ads, trade magazines, publications. That's more traditional. Now the technology has changed so much. The print media is used a little bit less these days. However, it's still very relevant. Okay. Broadcast media such as television and radio still ranks top of the line with social media or digital media as a whole, because of the reach that they both have as far as being able to reach potential consumers. So if you have media buys for TV or radio, depending on, let's say, Super Bowl Sunday, if you had a commercial and played during Super Bowl, then automatically you knew how many eyes were going to see your particular product or see your commercial on that particular day. So just knowing, having that placement for media, for broadcast media in place is very, very essential as well, and can prove to be very influential. Out of home or outdoor advertising consists of static, digital, and wallscape billboards. If you're driving along the interstate and you see this big billboard sign, it's going to catch your eye, whether it's a static billboard or especially if it's digital, which means it has flash. It's going to catch your eye, which means you know how much traffic is coming down that interstate. You know how many people are going to place their eyes on that billboard. That's more traditional as well. However, it's still very effective to this day. And digital media, or which is internet based. So of course, you want to consider your website, but we have kind of moved more into the social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn allows content to be shared and seen as well. And since we have moved into an age of social media, I want to kind of talk a little bit more. I only have a couple listed here, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. But of course, again, you have Pinterest, you have Skype, you now have TikTok. All right. And technology is ever evolving. So I'm sure they'll come out with something new next week. But you want to make sure that you are connected via social platforms as well. I have created what we call the PEP method. It's presence, engagement, and timing. With presence, you want to make sure that you are there to connect with your audience mentally, emotionally, and physically, because that's how and where you build rapport. You cultivate the relationship through those means. You also want to make sure that you have engagement with your consumer through social media, where they are sharing your content, they are liking your content, they are reposting your content, they follow you, they like your page, and they are also encouraging others to like and follow your page. They're joining your groups. Things are set up. The more someone engages with your page, the more others will see your page as well. And then just kind of knowing timing. What time of day to post certain, or how often to post certain content as well. Social media presence that's existing and occurring now. Be human. It's okay to be human. You don't have, your posts don't have to be robotic. Make sure again that you are relatable to those that you are trying to target. Seek relationships. That means build bonds and partnerships with other companies, whether they're doing the same thing that you're doing or offering the same products that you're offering or not. Connect with them. Again, you want as many people connected to your product, to your service, to your company, to your brand as possible. All right. And sometimes you have to step outside of your comfort zone or outside of the realm of what you're currently doing to do so. Make your presence known. Follow the trend. What is the current day trend? What is trending on social media? What is trending in society? Make sure that you connect and attach with that particular trend, and then monitor your social presence. So typically all social platforms, especially if your account is set up as a business, will assist you in having what they call insights. It allows you to see how many women follow your page, how many men, the engagement. If you post a picture versus a video, what's the engagement level? What's the reach? Your likes, what is the increase or the decrease in those who are liking your page or following your page? What does that actually look like? Which will then give you the information, the tools you need to know how you need to shift and adjust your posting on social sites. And there's also make sure that you always set yourself apart. Even though you want to connect with other companies or organizations or businesses that may be doing the exact same thing that you're doing, make sure that there is something specifically different or unique about you that separates you from your competitor or from others. Social media engagement is about long-term relationship, commitment, dedication, adaptability. Consider the future of the relationship. Ensure all parties are happy. Sounds like a marriage, right? Technically, kind of, sort of, it is. You have to be committed to cultivating relationships through social media, because this is a form where you may not necessarily get to touch, feel, or see someone, but you can connect with them through their eyes based on what they see. Okay. And so you have to be committed to make sure that the content is relevant, that it's accurate, and that it's something that they can use or have need of if it's a product or if it's a service. Be dedicated to the cause. Be dedicated to making sure that you are offering whatever you're showcasing on your social platforms, and this is just in general, whatever you are showcasing, that you can actually back it up, that you can produce what you say you can, and being dedicated to making sure that everyone's needs are met or exceeded. being adaptable, meaning that you know that change will take place, so that you can easily adapt to change. Because again, in technology, so many things change. Technology change. Again, we went from just having Facebook. I'm sorry, it was MySpace back in the day, and then Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Then TikTok is I think one of the latest. Just make sure that you are keeping up with those different changes and those variations. Goals, knowledge, and rules equates to value, trust, and expectations, which then breeds engagement, relationships, and interactions over time. And then again, just making sure that all parties are happy with what you are promoting and pushing. This builds long-term relationships. Let's get visual. So photos and videos, photos of members of your organization or business, photos of events, behind the scene photos or videos, or even bloopers, quotes or memes are all things that help people engage with your social media page, okay? So if there's a special event that you were a part of, whether you volunteered for it or was your event, post it. This lets your viewer know that you are involved in community activities, that you have a presence in the community as well, and that you do more than just push your product, okay? Any type of photos and videos, typically videos get more engagement. So if you have a video of an event, or if you have a video of something that's going on, or if it's a commercial, post that. Those typically get higher engagement. Memes have taken over all over, you know, so if you have a funny meme that you can tie in with your brand, post it, you know, and share it if it's funny, or whatever the case may be. Even connected in those moments where the news may not be as good news, you know, it may be something that's a little bit sad, but because you built a certain rapport with your audience already, you will now connect with them on a different level, in a different place, and kind of tug at those heartstrings. So make sure that you do have that connection in place with those various visuals. Timing is everything. Practice timing in and what is shared, okay? Knowing when to say or not to say something, testing the timing algorithm, and the TMI factor, too much information factor. So in practicing timing and what is shared, make sure that it's relevant information. You know, it's accurate information. If you're going to put something out there on social media, if you're going to promote this product and you say, hey, use this discount code, make sure that the discount code works. Make sure that you can offer this product at this discounted rate. Knowing when to say or not to say something. I've had clients, and typically with my clients, we both have access to posting to social media, to their social pages. And I'm typically very, very, you know, stern on making sure that it's in line with the brand. However, I've had clients to post something, I've had to say, hey, we got to take that down. Doesn't look too good, you know, just making sure that you're mindful of what you're saying and what you're posting. Again, test the timing algorithm. For some, your audience may connect with you better during the morning hours. It may be in the afternoon, or it could be in the evening time, just knowing when the best time is to post. And that's a trial and error process, okay? And then again, knowing when too much information is giving, or if you're posting way too much. If you're posting 30 posts a day, I can guarantee you that most of those posts are going to be overlooked, and over time people will unfollow your page. Again, you want to be front of mind, but you want to make sure that you don't do information overload with those who are viewing your social media pages. Social media is #1 around the world to engage, to connect. From 2008, which is I want to say is around the time when social media really came on the platform, it has grown tremendously. This particular statistic from Hootsuite is as of July of 2020, where the total number of active social media users is 3.96 billion people and steadily growing. So social is definitely an avenue of a platform that you want to utilize in order to further grow your business and utilize for marketing and branding purposes. All right. You want to consider growth strategies with your business. Market penetration strategy is to increase sales of existing products or services in markets, and thus to increase your market share. This is usually done when your business or organization decides to drop your price to be in better competition with your competitor. So let's say your competitor is selling something for $49.99. You have the exact same product that's similar. You're selling yours for $10 less. What you're trying to do in that case is to draw out your competitors' consumers so they can come over to your side. That is how some market development, increasing sales of previously unexplored markets. Market expansion involves an analysis of the way in which a company's existing offer can be sold in new markets or how to grow the existing market. Okay. So what you typically want to do is take those existing products and put them in markets where you've never been before, to penetrate that market with those current products to see how they will actually do and see if you can actually get some growth there. You also have product development. The objective is to launch new products or services in existing markets. For an example, the Xbox. I think we're now at the Xbox 5. I'm not really an Xbox person, but I think it's the Xbox 5, but they have changed and developed their products so much over time from when they first came out until now. It's even better, as far as what it's able to do. So that's when we say product development, we are looking at ways to take either our current products and services and make them better, or redevelop them into something completely new. Diversification, launching new products or services in previously unexplored markets. We kind of touched on that in market penetration market development before, but this is if you are currently, let's say, in the South and you want to go global now, which is very, very risky. However, it's doable. But let's say now you want to take your product or your service out of the country. What does that look like? And it's being, willing to take that step to launch new products or services in unexplored markets. Increasing revenue. What a lot of business owners don't realize or understand is that in order to increase revenue, the key is to focus on the past and current consumers. An efficient way for any business to drive a short-term boost in revenues is by investing time in their current or past customers. It's easy for businesses to get caught up trying to find new customers. In reality, it's our past and current customers who can offer us the most return on investment. What this is simply saying is it is easier and more affordable to retain our current customers or bring back our past customers than it is to actually get new customers, because in order to get new customers, you now have to funnel additional funds into marketing and advertising and promotions. Whereas if you maintain your current or past customers, you bring them back, you get them on board, you make sure that they're engaged, they're active, they're buying your products, you're giving them a great experience, they will spread the word as well, which can then bring on new clientele and new customers for you. Make sure your customers are happy. All right. So we want to thank you guys so much for joining Just Ask the Blueprint workshop. Feel free to visit us at theaskgroupinc.com and follow us on all social media pages at the Ask Group Inc. That's TheAskGroupinc. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Take care. It's me again, Fiona James, also known as the branding coach and CEO of the Ask Group Incorporated. I hope you caught my keynote a moment ago, but if you did not, you have an opportunity to catch my workshop, Just Ask the Blueprint, where we would talk about business startup. A lot of people have trouble knowing how to actually start the business, what business structure should they utilize, how to protect their business, how to build their business credit. Also, we're going to deal with marketing and branding, knowing the different aspects of marketing and branding and knowing that there is a difference between the two. And the best way to do that, especially through social media platforms with times ever changing. And finally, how to further grow your business and build revenue, because the end goal is for return on your investment to increase profits and revenue and sales over time. So I hope you would join me in this workshop. We look forward to seeing you there. You will not regret it. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dakisha Williams, your virtual COO. Super excited to be here and to be sharing this information with you. Please know, I always say one program will change your life if you let it. One program will change your life if you let it. So over the next several minutes, I'm going to show you how you can make 6 figures in your business by stop making this one mistake. All right. Now I'm going to need you to take some notes while I'm training. Okay. And so just in case some of you don't know, this is the first time that you are hearing the sound of my voice. My name is Dakisha Williams, your virtual COO, #webinar queen. And I help entrepreneurs to create consistent cash flow using webinars in their business. Now here recently, I've had conversations with clients. And so what they're telling me is that their conversion rate has decreased. They have seen a massive decrease in conversion rate when they are selling from Facebook groups. All right. So I know a lot of people, there's a lot of programs out there and a lot of strategy out there where they teach you to grow your Facebook group. They teach you to make 6 figures or multiple 6 figures from your Facebook group. Can it be done? Yes. But there is a process that has to be done, a product that has to be in place, and then a point in which you convert them into a actual client. All right. So one of the things that you first have to understand before you can even monetize a Facebook group is the anatomy of the buying behavior. Somebody type anatomy of buying behavior, or you can write it down because I hope you are taking notes. Now, there is a science to how we purchase online. There's a science to how we buy online. And I always like to make sure that we are aware that there's phases in which we as consumers buy. There are phases in which we as consumers buy. Anybody know what those phases are, right? Well, I'm going to tell you. So there's the awareness phase, the consideration phase, and the conversion phase. All right. So I don't have a lot of time, but I definitely want to make sure that you get this. There is the awareness phase, the consideration phase, and the conversion phase. Now, here's what I like to tell my students, and here's what I like to tell my clients. I use live stream for awareness, and I use webinars for conversions. I need you to write that down. I use live stream for awareness, and I use webinars for conversion. Now, there's a thing called Clubhouse too that we've used to create conversion as well, to create awareness. So when it comes to awareness are strategies that you are using in your business so people know that you exist. What are some current strategies that you're using in your business so people know that you exist? So people know that Dakisha exists. So for an example, I've been asked to be on several different platforms, especially virtual set platforms like summits. I've been asked to be on different podcasts. I do my own live streams, whether they are done on my business page, whether they are done in a private Facebook group. When you see my camera go on any social media platform, whether it is Instagram, if I'm starting a room on Clubhouse, it is to create awareness about my brand. Write that down. Jot that down in your notes. Now, the second piece to that a lot of people miss is that there's always a next step. A lot of us, we will strategically go live. We will strategically show up online. But are you giving the next steps, right? You've heard of sales funnels, and a sales funnel is nothing more than a process of that people go through in order to enter into your ecosystem. So write that down. A funnel is nothing more than a process or sequence of activities that people use in order to enter into your ecosystem, right? So if you are doing your awareness strategies, then that is the entry point to your ecosystem. Now, in order for them to get to the next phase of your ecosystem, you have to give them specific instructions. That specific instructions need to tell them what they need to do, and it should also include It should also include them opting into your list, whether it be by email, text message, or messenger bot. I just gave you 3 free strategies on how to build your email list. That's a whole nother training by itself. So consideration is when they take the next step in your process. That means that they're going to give you their information. They're going to give you their first name. They're going to give you their last name. They're going to give you their email address. If you do like I do, I'm going to ask you for your phone number. And this is how you stay in the conversation with your ideal client, with a potential client. The last part of the phase of the buying phase is the actual conversion mechanism. Conversion is where the actual cash takes place or the credit card takes place. For me, webinars has been the number one vehicle that I have used in order to convert clients into my ecosystem. Write that down. Webinars has been the absolute number one way for me to generate clients into my ecosystems. Now, with everything that's gone on in the world, with the pandemic, we have also turned to virtual workshops. And let me let you know that a virtual workshop can be a 2-day event. It could be a 4-hour event. We've made $24,000 off of a 2-day event, and we've made $20,000 off of a 1-day event. But these are conversion. This is how people get to interact with you. This is where they get to build a relationship with you further, right? So this might be the third or the fourth date. Okay. Now in the conversion phase, this is where the sales takes place. And so just to give you an example, I was on a live stream earlier today and I was participating in a challenge. And so I don't know why my nose is tickled. In this challenge, I was watching it on Facebook. And so as I was watching it on Facebook, you know, if you scroll anymore, the video, it minimized and it goes to the side. So even while you are teaching or training in a live Facebook group, you are running the risk of there being distractions. You are running the risk of there being distractions. And the last thing that you want when you are having a conversation where you want them to buy is for your audience to be distracted. This is one of the number one reasons why I teach my students to pull people off of these platforms, because there's so many distractions. Now that we've removed the distractions, now that you understand that there's a journey, right? The anatomy of this process. So let me explain something to you. There's a marketing pyramid, and this is why this is important. The marketing pyramid says that 3 to 5% of your audience are ready, willing, and able to buy right now. So that means that even if you are speaking to an audience of 100, an audience of 500, 3 to 5% of their audience are ready to buy right now in this moment. There's another 95% of people that are on the fence. So when you are doing a live stream only in a Facebook group, you are limiting yourself on the other 95%. Honestly, 30%, based on this marketing triangle, 30% are just not even interested. We're going to leave them be. They just want to be stuck. All right. So if you're writing your notes, just say 30% of my audience just want to be stuck. There's nothing I can say, do, or teach. Some people just like to sit on, as the story says, where the dog is sitting on the nail. Some people just want to stay on the nail, and we're going to leave them there on the nail. So there's 67% of your audience who are on the fence. They're open, but they they may still have objections, but they haven't made the decision. So when you actually pull people out of distracting atmospheres, you are positioning yourself to create a private space. You are positioning yourself to create a space where you can help them to make an educated buying decision. I want you to write this down. It is my responsibility to help my audience make an educated buying decision. It is my responsibility to help my audience make an educated buying decision. And so you need their full attention when they are making this educated buying decision. So that means if you have open enrollment, For your program, that means if you are selling a product, whatever it may be, people are going to always have questions. There's only going to be 3 to 5% of your audience that's like, show me the button, give me the link, and let me go buy. Right? Now, another mistake that we're making. Webinars allow you to build your list, and it's 3 separate lists that you can build when you're actually using webinars. This is how you get to 6 figures using webinars. Write this down. There's 3 separate lists that you can build when you actually use webinars in your business. All right. So let me give you an example. We've done challenges. We've done summits. We have done workshops. We've done webinars, standalone webinars. So let me map out this process before I shut this training down. So let's explain it in a matter of a challenge. A lot of you all see challenges. A lot of you all want to do a challenge. Some of you have already done a challenge. So let me just, because we use a 12-point marketing system when we launch, right? This is what I teach my students. So the longer the runway until the launch, the better and the more profitable your launch is going to be. So a lot of people have been taught that I'm going to use a Facebook group for my challenge. That's cool. So let me tell you the 3 lists, and I want you to write this down. An interest list, a launch list, and a buying list. This is very important. Pay attention. So when you start to promote your upcoming challenge or your upcoming launch, right? And you're seeding that you've got something exciting to come, right? Like I've got something exciting to share with you. So when you're seeding that and you have a wait list, that is actually called an interest list. You created an interest list in what you have coming. Write that down. Jot that down in your notes. All right. So when you actually start promoting the challenge, when you promote the challenge, you are creating what they call a launch list. Watch this. When you promote the challenge, you're creating a launch list. Here is why I tell my students, do a webinar on the back end of your challenge, on the back end of your summit. Come on. It's because you create a buying list. How many of you under the sound of my voice want a buyer's list? I want a buyer's list, right? If I'm going to have an email list of 10,000 people, I want the majority of the people on my list to be buyers. Come on, somebody, right? In the words of my friend Delatoro McNeil. So yes, you want to create a buyer's list. Here is what's happening when you make an offer in your Facebook group and you don't have a webinar. You just lost out on 67% of your buyer's list. 67% of your buyer's list. Because what happens is when they register for the webinar, they've actually raised their hand to say, I am interested in learning more. Now, I've been with you for about 4 or 5 days, 7 days, 14 days, but I still want more. So you are negating your buyer's list. So stop giving people a reason not to work with you. Allow them to show them that they are truly interested and they have more questions. How many of you want a buyer's list? Come on, somebody. And so I'm going to give you a quick strategy that we use for this buyer's list. And this is why people are missing out on some money. Because when you have a buyer's list and you're not just relying on your Facebook group, now we have a database of people that we can follow up with. So let's just say that you grow a Facebook group to 200 people, 300 people, and you do a live in it or you do a live training in it for the next 3 to 4 days or 5 to 7 days, what have you. Yes, they're on your email list, but that's 500 people on your email list. You don't know if they're interested in the actual product or not. However, when you actually create a webinar, you're creating a space that is going to allow you to educate your user. And so now you can educate the user. You can actually address any objections, any false beliefs. One of the things that I have to explain to people about webinars is like hitting the Control-Alt-Delete button on your computer. Write that down. Webinars are like hitting the Control-Alt-Delete button on your computer. Because when they show up, they already have these precondition or pre-notions about what it is that you're getting ready to teach them. They probably watched somebody else's video. They purchased another program. So they already come in saying, oh yeah, this is not going to work. It's your responsibility to show them why your vehicle is going to work. It's my responsibility to show you why you should be using webinars in your business. It's my responsibility to show you why you're leaving money on the table because you're not implementing the conversion mechanisms in your business. Teach, I'm already doing it. Y'all sure it ain't Sunday? So it is your responsibility to literally wipe the slate clean. And let me explain to you what that does. What that does is it opens the mindset to what you're getting ready to teach. So if I come onto your webinar and you already like bust my myths wide open, my misconceptions that I have, and I'll give you a perfect example. I have been thinking about YouTube, right? So if I go and I watch a webinar on using YouTube for my business, the first thing they're going to tell me is that YouTube can work for my business, right? I know that it can, but once they dissolve my myths, it creates and it opens up my mindset, so I'll be more receptive to the information that they're going to share. Write that down in your notes. So that is what the true reason of the webinar is. Not only is it a teaching mechanism, not only is it a conversion mechanism, but it also helps you to reframe the way that people think about your vehicle. All right. And I want to share with you this last thing before I let you go. Before I let you go, I want you to understand how you can generate revenue in your business using webinars. Let's just say that you have 60 people registered. Our strategies that we use, we get 30 to 40%, sometimes 50% show rate for every single webinar. And I'm giving you real small, generous numbers. So let's just say 60 people register for your webinar and 50% show. If you actually do the things that I'm telling you to do, you can close 2 people every week at a $9.97 price point. That's $2,000 a week. That's $8,000 a month. Somebody say 6 figures. You can type in the comments 6 figures, right? And let's just say that you have a $6,000 product and you do a webinar every single week. Somebody say once a week. Let me show you where the money is. 1 webinar every single week and 60 people register. 50% show up. You close 2 at $6,000. That's $12,000 a week. That's $48,000 a month. Somebody say 50K months here. 50K months here. $576,000 in 1 year. That's $500,000. Somebody say 1 program will change your life if you let it. My name is Dakisha Williams, your virtual COO. Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. Grab my free webinar checklist by texting in 804-298-2846 if you've never done webinars in your business. Again, my name is Dakisha Williams, your virtual COO. Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable.
I am good. How are you?
Wonderful. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Look forward to the conversation. Hopefully these other ladies, I think there's just 3 or 4 on the panel.
Okay. So are you Constance?
I am.
Okay, good. Oh, good to meet you. Good to meet you. Yeah. I didn't get any questions, so I don't know.
Oh, I sent them out today. You didn't get them today?
No, I did not. I was looking, but.
I sent them.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was looking. I
I
didn't see
sent
it.
them about. Did you send me your bio?
I did.
So there was only one person that actually sent the bio, which was probably you. I sent it to you guys about 1 my time on Pacific, 106.
Oh, 106. Let me look at my phone and see, because I don't recall, because I checked. I've been in national meetings all day today, virtually,
Yeah.
but I did check to
Okay.
see what was what, because I didn't know what the conversation was going to be about. It's okay, whatever's about is fine.
It's
I mean,
it's really
Oh.
around the topic, which is the Black CEO's Guide to a Wildly Successful, Fantastically Fulfilling, and Purposefully Profitable Year.
Oh my
So,
God.
our good friend Trevor Otts comes up with the greatest titles, doesn't he?
He does, and I'm like, what does he mean? You know?
Take a look at your. Take a look. Let me know if you have them.
Yeah, I'm looking at my my Cynthia GCSP network. No, I don't see it. Let me see if it went to.
Well, here, let me copy and paste it in the chat.
Maybe it went to
That way you have a
spam.
couple minutes to look at it.
Oh, nothing in spam.
No, not even in spam, because I just replied back to all the same email that all right, it's in the chat.
Okay, let's see if I can find the chat. Let's see. Oh, what do you do? How long have you done it? And let's see.
So if this turns into a one-on-one interview, I'm okay with that.
Oh, okay. So, um, okay. All right, got it. I got it. Okay, so what's interesting is that, I have a corporate job.
Oh yeah?
I do, and I have a business. So I do
Okay,
both
awesome.
at the same time. I know, right? I do both at the same time, but it's
Hardworking
not.
woman, huh?
Oh, wait, I just lost you. Hold on.
You can't see me?
Yeah, I did something. Hold on. I can. Here it is. I'm back. I think what's interesting too is tonight Trevor has this actual
This training that he's
yeah,
doing.
which
So what
sounds
I'm gonna
really
do,
good.
let's go ahead and let's do the interview. We'll just do it in interview style, just you and I, and that
Okay.
way we can get off in enough time to get over to air meet and get on with everybody else. I have where are you? Are you East Coast, West
Well,
Coast?
yeah, I'm in Maryland.
Okay, so you're East
Coast.
Coast. So I'm the West Coast. So right now it's 4 o'clock my time, and then I have a 5 o'clock panel I'm going to be on, and I have a 6 o'clock. So I'll be able to just sneak on over there real quick. So let's get started.
Okay.
All right. Hey, everybody, this is your girl, Constance Carter, and I am moderating the panel, The Black CEO's Guide to a Wildly Successful, Fantastically Fulfilling, and Purposeful Profitable Year. That was tongue twister, wasn't it? I am with none other than the fabulous Miss Cynthia Martin right now. So everybody give a round of applause for Cynthia Martin. Virtual round of applause, virtual round of applause. So Cynthia.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm good, Candace. It's so nice to see you, and it's good to be here.
Good to be seen, Miss Lady.
Yes.
All right, so let's jump right into it, okay?
Yes.
All right, so first tell me, what is it that you do? How long have you been in business, and what year was your best year in business?
Oh, okay. Those are really good questions because, well, first of all, let me just tell you who I am. I am Cynthia D. Martin, and I'm the author of Speed Networking, 5 Simple Steps to Sell Your Products and Services. And I have over 20 years of pharmaceutical and healthcare sales experience. So I use my skills to consult with entrepreneurs, small businesses, and corporations. And my small business that I started probably, I think like 13, 14 years ago is gbmenterprises.com. And that's a professional and management training company. And what we do, we develop and facilitate like sales, marketing, personal development courses for corporations, for businesses, and for the government. So that's what I do. Now, Candace, I haven't always put all my attention to GBM Enterprises because, like I said, I have a corporate job too. So, what I believe that's really good to have this corporate job and this side hustle or the small business, I should say a small business because that's what it is. I mean, I learned so much in the corporations that I've worked for over 20 years. And like I said, I like to take those skills and transfer those over to entrepreneurs who many times have never been trained, under a corporate umbrella. So I know that there's a skill set that we can transfer and that we can use in our own businesses to be successful.
Mm, absolutely. Fantastic. So let me ask you this. So in your best year in business, what did you do that year? What year was that? And then what did you do that year for it to be that best year? What made it so wildly successful?
Okay, so the best year, I think in my best year, I'm going to always talk about both areas where I work. In my best year in corporate, I hit number one in the nation,
Oh, wow.
as a sales person. And to me, to hit number one in the nation in the United States out of maybe, I think like 400 people, that said a lot. So when I did that, that's when I said, it's time to capture what I'm doing. So I put it in a book and I wrote the book to make sure that I captured what we do there. And I didn't capture it all because I made it my own because I believe in, putting in myself and everything I do. But that was something that I said I always wanted to do. And I finally did it. But in my own business, I think when I was most successful was when I started applying what I knew throughout the day to my business. And then making it even more successful when I started working with other business owners, entrepreneurs. So I had one client, and I'm going to use this client as a success because in what was it, 2014, I started consulting with a doctor in her business, and she had goals. So we planned out her goals. We did everything we could. We got her on the speaker circuit. We did everything. And right now she is a national speaker. She's an international speaker. She is doing some wonderful things, and her business is well over $2-3 million. And this is a solo practice. So,
Wow.
and I just used what I knew and I combined with what she already knew. And then we tapped into other people who had some specialties that we just needed a little bit of a knowledge around, and we did it. And to this day, she's wildly successful. And I base my success on how I help other people. So it's not always about me and all my things, but what I can do to help other people, that's when I feel successful.
That's what it's all about. Success is really, and that's the definition of success for me, is how I can help somebody else become successful. The more people that you can help become successful, that's how successful you'll be. So it's paramount that as we are on our journey to success, that we're always reaching back, helping other people. So that's amazing. Kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this. What have you done in your business since the pandemic? Some changes that you've made to ensure that your business could stay consistent, could stay successful, can move forward.
Yeah. So some things that we had to do was, start selling virtually, which was something that I was always used to being face to face, selling and communicating and building relationships. But now I had to go 100% virtual. And that was a
Yeah.
learning curve, trying to understand how to use these platforms, whether it's Zoom or what Microsoft Teams is, all these different platforms, trying to understand how to, get people to actually sign on,
Yeah.
because you just can't walk in and say, I'm here. I have to go through emails and text messages and are you going to join me? Do you have time? I mean, it was so much, but I've been able to pivot in that regard. And then another thing that I've been able to do is really use LinkedIn, because, LinkedIn is a great place to actually write, because you can write what you want to get across to other people. And that's a great way to virtually network too.
Yeah.
Because when we go face to face, we're networking and we're doing our thing. But then you can take the same thing that you would say and put it in writing and make it more concise. And then that way you're able to send it to LinkedIn, to those people that you want to connect with, and people actually respond. So it's been good in that regard, in trying to figure out, and it's challenging too. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not at all easy, but it's been a good exercise in pivoting and trying to see what's the next best thing, for my business and what I can teach other people about their businesses.
So you've taken your speed networking over to LinkedIn, huh? I love it.
Constance, I had to, because I mean,
Yeah,
there was no other way.
I
And so
love it.
the same way that because I have like a 5-step speed networking method. So those same 5 steps, that I would sit up and talk about, I just put it in writing, and just make it short, concise, and meaningful, and you send it over. So I've met a lot of people on LinkedIn since this
Yeah,
pandemic. Yes,
that's
I've been
awesome.
linking up with people like that.
So pivot,
Pivot.
pivot.
Pivot is the number one thing.
Yeah,
Pivot. And I pivot. I pivoted.
you pivoted. So my last and final question, which is 3 parts. Well, not 3 parts, but it's what are 3 things that you would tell a struggling entrepreneur to do differently in this pandemic than they would in a normal time? Give me 3 things.
Okay, 3 things that I would tell them to do differently. So I'd have to find out what is an entrepreneur doing right now, because I would say that there's like 5 things that I do consistently. And if you're not doing those, pre-pandemic or pandemic, then I mean, how are you going to get your business to grow? So
Sure.
I want to take it from that angle. So the
Okay.
number one thing that I would ask all of my entrepreneurs to do, small business owners, is to invest in your personal development.
Mm,
Number one, because right now this is a new way of selling. It's a new way of growing your business, and sometimes you may not know what to do. So number one is invest in your personal development, whether that's a coach, a mentor, getting more education, increasing a skill set, something like that. The second thing I would do is invest in your business development, because now you have a challenge of pivoting. And how do you pivot? You're going to have to invest in your business somehow, whether it's, some of those platforms that you mentioned. Before, we never had subscriptions to those things, but now you have
right.
to invest in that and set aside budgets for virtual, I guess, communication, virtual building, virtual selling. So that's the second thing. The third thing I would say, and I always do this, is writing out annual sales strategies, because now that we're in a pandemic, your sales strategies have changed. They've changed.
Yeah.
You can't be face to face. You can't, a lot of things you can't do, so you have to sit down and write out sales strategies. And the best way to do that, what we normally do is just use that SMART method, the SMART model of you being specific about what you want to do. And then that's the S, and the M is being measurable. You want to measure out what you're going to do. And your A is attainable. The R is relevant, make those goals relevant. And the T is time bound. So everything that we do, we need to measure it. And
Mm,
this is a good time. We have time. People are sitting at home. You have time to write out your
right, right,
strategies,
right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So, and I know sometimes that can get a little tricky. Somebody says, what's SMART method? Well, let me just put it this way. I want you to remember it this way. At the beginning of the year, everybody wants to lose weight, right? Usually
Right.
you want to lose weight or gain or something like that. So what do? The first thing you do is you measure what you want to change. So
Mm,
you jump on a scale, right?
yeah.
So you're measuring your how much you weigh. And then you want to be specific about what you want to change. So you start measuring your waistline, your quadriceps, your triceps, your biceps, everything. And then you start documenting, what they are. My waistline is, 42. And then you set a goal, and it's got to be attainable. You can't go from a 42 to a 22. So you might set it at 40, and
Right.
then you want to make sure that is relevant. So if we get the waistline down to 40, and then we get our hips down to, so you want to be proportional, so you're going to make goals that kind of match, and then time bound, because you're going to figure out, like, how long is it going to take for me to do that. And in between that, you got to write each tactic out, like, I'm going to do 15 reps of this, 25 reps of this. So that's how we have to look at business. We have to look at it the same way. Everything we do has to be measured. So
Yeah.
that's why we use the SMART model, and that's the best way I could relate it to somebody who may not have heard about it,
Hmm.
but that's how I look at it. And then I think that fourth thing I would say is always revise your business plan. We write a business plan when we start our businesses. We never look back at it.
Right.
Every year, revise it. And now's a good time to revise it because things have changed. Now, and don't get it mixed up. A sales strategy and a business plan are two very different things. So I want you to understand those are two very different things. So go back to that business plan and see, what it looks like and revise it to meet the current situation that we're in, our current environment. And then that last thing, I'm always going to say this, is network. Speed network any kind of way you want to, because our relationships are our currency.
That's right.
And then keep in touch with people. And that's how I build my businesses. That's how I know that with GBM Enterprises, I know that I need people to come in and do certain things, 1099s, et cetera. So I make sure that I know people, from all different industries, so that whenever an opportunity comes up, I don't know everything, but I know people who know things. So I'll call them up and say, hey, I have an opportunity, and I want you to work in this opportunity if you can, or whatever. So I think those are the 5 key things that we can do in our businesses to keep them growing, to keep them going, to keep them vibrant. So that would be I think that's
I'm inspired. That was absolutely amazing.
Oh, you're inspired?
I am inspired.
Okay, well, that's good. So that means you'll probably go back and look at your business, take another look at it to see what's happening with it.
Yeah, definitely look at it, take those smart goals. But that networking, just like you say, your network is your currency, your social currency. Your network is your net worth. And
exactly.
I believe that my business has grown as a result of me just networking and being around a lot of smart people and the right people, being in the right rooms. I can't wait till we get out of the pandemic so I can be around in those right rooms again. I miss it. I
understand that. Yeah. So,
well, thank you. That was
so
great.
welcome. You're so welcome.
So this was the Black CEO Guide to a wildly successful, fantastically fulfilling, and purposefully profitable year. Say that 5 times. Thank you so much, Miss Cynthia Martin. We appreciate you being on the show today. Where can they find you?
Okay, so you can find me at GBM Enterprises. gbmenterprises.com. So that's where all my information is. Yes. And I have like Twitter at DC Speed Network.
Okay.
I have a podcast, DC Speed Networking, Spotify. It's everywhere podcasts are. Just it's very simple just to get you familiar with what I do. And I think those are the best places because I don't spend a lot of time in social media because I spend a lot of time talking to people and doing what I do. So I don't give social media a lot of my time because it can take a lot from you. And before you know it, you spent 4 or 5 hours, there. And what have you gained?
In there.
Sometimes it's not a lot.
Yeah.
So,
well,
that's where you can find me. You're so welcome. It's so nice meeting you.
You as well. Pleasure's mine. Take care. God bless.
God bless you.
It's time to play your royal position. This is your favorite sis, Minister Nikita Davis, the proud CEO and founder of Jesus Coffee and Prayer Christian Publishing House, the #1 Christian publishing house in the land. And I am so excited, so delighted to be here at the Black CEO Iconic. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it for the culture. Let's do it for who God has created us to be. And let's do this, okay? So look, I am here because I want you to be blessed. In this season, there's no more room for us to pick up the crumbs, for us to pick up the pieces. When we move, we want to operate in obedience to the calling of our life, but we also want to operate with the ability to be deliberate. So what I want to share with you, Queen, for all of my speakers, authors, girl bosses, those who aspire to be and who actually want to build their legacy, I want to give you some tips that you can use immediately to help scale your business just as God has placed on the inside of my heart. So I want to share that with you. And the topic is pretty popular, and broke ain't cute. Okay, so Queen, you can say that again. Pretty, popular, and broke ain't cute. So what I want to show you are five strategic moves that you can take advantage of right now to help scale your business. So can we get right to it? Is that okay? Perfect. I thought you would say so. So the first thing that I need you to do in this season to help you level up, right, is to fix your focus. And what I'm talking about is fixing your focus on the things that actually matter to you, your brand, your mission, your vision that God put on the inside of you, but also to your client and your customer. I need us to stop fixating our focus on the superficial metrics. I know we're in a digital world, especially with COVID and the pandemic and all of these things are going on and social distancing. You're watching me virtually, so who knows where you're watching this, whether live or on the replay. But when you get stuck on the social media metrics that are not adding to your bottom line, that's the caveat, that are not adding to your bottom line, you are stuck on being pretty, popular, and unfortunately for many of my African American sisters and brothers, broke. And so what do I mean? You hear all of the gurus, I don't care who it is, the millionaires, the billionaires, the gurus, and they tell you to show up and be consistent. And that is true. You're showing up, you're pretty, you got your lipstick popping, your hair is looking good for my ladies, right? You're showing up on social media, doing your lives. They tell you to post 3 times a day, right? Or you got your social media team doing that for you. And all of those things are fantastic. People are liking, they're commenting, maybe they're even sharing. And that's also amazing, right? But it means nothing as an entrepreneur who wants to be successful, who wants to build their legacy, if those people who are liking, commenting, and sharing do not turn into warm leads, which turns into hot leads, which turns into profitability for your business. I need you to fix your focus from the superficial metrics and begin to really get to the bottom line. It's cute to show up cute, right? It's cute to know that people like what you're putting out and the content that you're sharing. But is it leading to them wanting to do business with you? And that's where I want you to begin to fix your focus. One of the things that I tell a lot of my clients, in the publishing world, which I do that, of course, but also from a business strategy standpoint, simply take a piece of paper and pen and write down the activities that you do on a day-to-day basis. And to the right side of that, you should be able to correlate either directly or very close to that directness of that equaling money to your bottom line. If I'm on social media all day long, but then I look to the right side of that piece of paper and there's no money, no profit to the right side of that, then I have to ask myself, what type of activity is this? This is not a money generating activity. I need to find a way to make it a profitable money generating activity. So that's a huge piece that I want to share with you. And it's one of the nuggets I had to do on my own to take my business from earning $2,000 a month at the beginning of January of 2020 before COVID-19 to scaling my business to over $30,000 a month by January of 2021 during the pandemic. All the glory belongs to God, but I had to fix my focus, get laser focused on what you're trying to do, who you're trying to serve, and how you serve them. You can still be pretty, you can still be cute, fellas, you can still be handsome if you're watching this, but make sure that doesn't sugarcoat your bank account and your bank account is on zero. Okay, so that's going to be the first tip and clue to success that I want to provide to you as to how you can level up and go from being pretty, popular, and broke to pretty, popular, and paid. Can we do that? All right. So the second tip that I want to give you is to amplify your transformation. Amplify your transformation. What does that mean, Minister Nikita Davis? Well, what that simply means is stop focusing on what you do, but how you're able to take your client, your customer from one level to the next. Focus on the transformation that will take place from your product or your service. So when they do business with you, it's one thing for me to say, if I took this bottle of water right here, right? Don't even know who this is by, right? If I took the bottled water, well, we all know the product is the water. And what does it do? I drink it and now I've got water. That's great. That's just telling them about the product. But if I want to take it to the next level, I begin to tell people the benefits, the life transformation of drinking water, 8 glasses of water every single day, and what it's going to do to my energy, what it's going to do to helping me not feel sluggish, what it's going to do to keeping me from being dehydrated, and how it will help fuel the rest of my day so that I can be vibrant and with my family and feel good on the inside. That's taking it to the next level and explaining to me just a piece of the transformation that takes place when I decide to drink that water, at least 8 glasses a day. What many of us in the African American community that I have seen, we just focus on the product. Yep, that's the bottled water. And they're like, okay, that's bottled water. But you need to get to the heart of your customer. Once you fix your focus, like we talked about in number 1, on who your client is and how you're going to serve them, now you can amplify the transformation that will take place only when they do business with you, baby. So that's where we need to get clear. And that's the second tip. That's something I had to do in order to, again, elevate my business during the pandemic to a 6-figure business in the first 11 months of me going full-time in my business. Again, all the glory belongs to God. But there are some strategic approaches that I took notes on that I'm sharing with you. The third tip is to over deliver and delight. You can write that down. Over, deliver, and delight. We all know if you're here, I'm just going to assume that you add value. If you're a speaker, I know your speeches are thebomb.com. If you're an author, you might as well be a New York Times bestseller. If you're a girl boss, I know that you are providing transformation with your products and your service. And that's absolutely fantastic. If you're doing that for your customer, I need you to over deliver, meaning give them what you say you're going to give them, but find a unique way that only you can do to delight your customer. When you pay someone a certain amount of money, whatever it is, I don't care if it's $1 or $1 million, they're expecting to get the product or service that you promised. Fair enough, right? If I go to Walmart, for example, right? And I go in to get a t-shirt, it says $5.99. If I pay $5.99, I expect to get the t-shirt. That's just what's going to happen. Does that delight me? Maybe, but probably not, because I expected to get the t-shirt. I paid $5.99. I'm expecting to get the t-shirt. But if I go in expecting to pay $5.99 to get the t-shirt, and then I also walk out with, a gift card or a free consultation, or I walk out with something else that takes me over the moon, right? Then I'm more inclined to be delighted. Now, I just used a simple example with Walmart, but let's be more specific. Think about your business. Specifically, think about your speaker, author, girl boss business, to all of my queens, because that's who I resonate with. I know who my target market is, right? Fellas, I still love y'all. I want y'all to win, and I want you to succeed. But right now, speaking to the heart of my queens, my ladies, right? So I need you to find a way to over deliver and communicate how you over deliver to that customer. It's not enough just to over deliver. You need to know that your customer knows that you went above and beyond. So it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. And when you do that, not only will your customer, your client want to come back to you, but they will be so inclined to tell other people about the award-winning customer experience that you provided. Great customer service does not only belong to Fortune 500 companies, it belongs to every single service leader and every single business leader, and that includes you. Make sure you over deliver and you delight. Find a way to delight your client. If you do that, they'll come back to you and they will tell other people about your business, because no matter what the world tells you in social media, Facebook, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, all of those things are important. I get it. We do have value in those items, but nothing will ever beat the organic reach. Word of mouth is still the #1 marketing advertising tool. So when you over deliver and you can explain, articulate how you over deliver and delight your customer, they will continue to come back to you and they'll bring people to you. And that's the goal. I don't want you to just be happy. If you're really happy, you'll come back and spend money with me, and you'll also bring a friend. You understand? So that's where I need our mindset to shift. We're fixing our focus, right? We're amplifying the transformation that we bring to our customer, our client, or whatever God has put on the inside of us to serve the world. And then we're also over delivering, and we're making sure our customer, our client is delighted on how we deliver. So step number 4 is to put your business on blast. Come on, y'all. Come on. Put your business on blast and put your business success on a megaphone. What do you mean? Well, again, just a few moments ago, I talked to you about the Fortune 500 companies. Let me just be clear and put this caveat here. No more small business talk. You know, it's so funny, and I'll share with you very briefly, my banker for my business. I don't even allow my banker to call my business a small business, right? I just don't even allow it. The way I look at it is I am a future Fortune 500 business in the making. I am not a small business. What you speak is what you have and is what you will see. Okay. So let's make sure we're speaking life over our business, not where we are. Faith is the substance of the things that we're hoping for, and we're hoping for, and we're praying for, and we're putting in the work for you to be a Fortune 500 business, Fortune 100, right? So let's just start there. But then you want to make sure that you tell the world about your business. Media, marketing, PR is not just for the rich. It's not a luxury anymore. It is something that the everyday business owner should have. That includes you. If you're a speaker, if you're an author, if you're a girl boss, and for the fellas, if you're a boss as well, you need to be in the limelight. A city upon a hill cannot be hidden, okay? And you, my friend, are a city upon a hill. So what that means is you're going to need to make sure the world knows about what transformation you bring, your business brings, your product brings to the table. So how do you do that? You get connected with media and PR. Now, in all fairness, Jesus Coffee and Prayer, yes, we do the publishing, we do the media, the PR and the marketing as well, but this is no pitch for me. I don't care who you do it with. As long as they are integral, they get you results, and they do what they say they're going to do, then that's fine. But just make sure you get it done. It needs to be a part of your monthly budget, your quarterly budget, your fiscal year, your budget. You have to have media and PR. So when you're providing all these amazing transformations to your clients, and they're DMing you, they're emailing you, they're sending you texts, you need to bundle that all together, and you need to be able to effectively tell your business story. And when I say your business story, I'm talking about more than when you started. Oh, this was the gift, the idea that God gave me. Yes, that's cool. Share that. Absolutely. You can put that in the blogs too, but I want to be specific. The whole goal in being deliberate in this is getting more people to spark interest so they can become warm leads, hot leads, and they want to connect with you to do business with you. So find a way to get on your local news, find a way to get on NBC, CBS, Fox, and just a host of other publications, whether nationally or international. Get into reputable, I'm going to leave a point right there, reputable magazines that will help advance your message, your brand, and your mission, right? So make sure you're getting connected in those areas. Again, whomever you want to use, it doesn't have to be Jesus Coffee and Prayer. Just make sure you do it, because your business is worth it. And so are you. I will tell you, by far, there's a few things, but this is one of the biggest things that my team has been able to do for our business that truly helped us skyrocket. Like literally, you understand what I'm saying? Where we were able to see double, triple, like I said, in January, over $30,000 in 1 month. We did it in less than 30 days. So you can do that too. There were several moving pieces and factors that had to take place, but the media and PR and leveraging that the right way was a huge piece of that, because we were in front of our target audience on a global scale. Find a way to get your business in front of a target audience on a global scale, and watch people slide in your DM, watch people email you and reach out to you because they want to be connected to you and all the greatness God is doing on the inside of you. The last piece that I want to provide to you that has been pivotal in me being successful in my business during the pandemic, again, over 6 figures. My goal is to hit 7 within the next 1 to 2 years. And based on trends and data, I definitely will be able to do that. Again, all the glory belongs to God. But the piece that I want to provide to you is collaboration. And I know it can feel like that is a beaten horse. Oh, everybody says collaborate, collaboration over competition. Well, I'm going to say it one more time. Maybe it'll hone on in, it'll get on the inside into your inner ear. Collaboration over competition. And that is so important. But I want to be specific. I don't want to give you a generic saying once again. Be specific. I want you to collaborate with like-hearted people, right? So they have the same heartbeat, they have the drive, they have the tenacity, they have the integrity. Make sure you have a like-hearted people in complementary products and services, meaning they don't have to sell or do exactly what you do, right? Because then that would be direct competition. But if they're complementary, meaning your audience will find value in what they have and how they serve, and their audience will find value in what you have and how you serve. So you can connect with like-hearted people and y'all can come up with a strategy plan to where you're helping promote their initiatives and efforts, and they're helping you. You're cross-marketing, you're cross-pollinating, and along the way, you should, if you do it right, you should be able to pick up some of their fan base, and they will be able to pick up some of your fan base. That, my friend, is what you call a win-win. And all of 2020, if you check my timeline at Jesus Coffee and Prayer, that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what we're doing already into 2021, connecting with other like-hearted women who love the Lord, because I am, ordained minister, and I'm not going to make any qualms. I'm unapologetic about my Blackness, and I'm unapologetic about my faith. Okay. And Jesus is my source. That may not be everyone's source that's watching this, and that's absolutely your choice. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that collaboration beats competition every single time. If you take these 5 tips that I just provided to you, and I know it was on a high level, you will see your profits grow. You will quickly move from being pretty, popular, and broke, which ain't cute, sis, to moving to being pretty, popular, and paid. And that's the goal that I want to provide to you. It's not enough for us to just show up and everybody likes, and we say we have a business, but when we look at our bottom line, we're not making any money. And that, my friend, makes no sense. And so I want you to grow. I want you to be prosperous. I want you to win. I want you to soar. And I want you to get in the game for 2021. Again, 5 tips that I want to provide to you is fix your focus, amplify your transformation, over-deliver and delight your customer, put your business on blast, and put your business success on a megaphone by leveraging the media, the marketing, and the PR. Get with the right person to help you there. And make sure you collaborate. Collaboration over competition still wins. And if you do that, you will go from being pretty, popular, and broke to pretty, popular, and paid. Queen, it's time to play your royal position. Please make sure you connect with me. Again, my name is Minister Nikita Davis, the proud CEO and founder of Jesus Coffee and Prayer Christian Publishing House, the #1 Christian publishing house in the land. And we're so excited. We're also the owners of the Women Win Network, a new television platform that'll be kicking off this spring. Make sure you connect with us. Follow us at Jesus Coffee and Prayer on Facebook and Instagram as well. It's the same handle. Or visit our website at www.jesuscoffeeandprayer.com. I love to hear from you. I can't wait to celebrate your success. Have a blessed day.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Robert Antoinette, and I serve as one of the hosts for Black CEO's premier event of 2021, known as Iconic. And I'm so excited to share this stage with business owners, with thought leaders and influencers who have impact around the world. And they all started out just like you, as an entrepreneur with a dream, a desire, and a passion. And if that sounds like where you are and who you are today, this is your time and this is your moment to get success strategies to help you to show up online and shine. We've got 7 days worth of information and strategies to help you to succeed. Day 1 is Digital Marketing Bootcamp. So for those of you who are in the social media space, if you're into webinars, if you're doing anything online and you want to show up with excellence, please make sure that you tell a friend, and you yourself, you're plugged into Day 1 of Black and Iconic, because that is our Digital Marketing Bootcamp. Now, Day 2 is Iconic Revenue. Now that rhymes, y'all, so y'all need to remember that Day 2 is Iconic Revenue. If you want wealth tips and strategies to help your economic situation to grow and to elevate, you want to make sure that you're plugged in to Day 2, which is Iconic Revenue. And then we follow that up with Day 3, which is going to be Black Tie, Black Money, and Black Power. That sounds so good, I gotta say it again. Black Tie, Black Money, and Black Power. Guess what, y'all? If you are plugged into Day 3, it's going to be so much hashtag Black Excellence on the screen, you are not going to be able to receive all that we have for you. But I guarantee you that there will be so many experts, so many thought leaders to help you with your presence online, to make sure that you're able to make the power moves that you've always wanted. And if that sounds exciting, stay plugged in for Day 4, where we help those speakers and authors. It is called the Speakers and Authors Showcase. If you want to crush the stage, if you have a book inside of you, make sure that you're tuned in to watch our Speakers and Authors Showcase. And then right after that, it's a good one. Day 5 is Unstoppable Black Women. Black Girl Magic is going to be on the screen for the entire day. From the morning and afternoon and even through the nighttime hours, you will hear from the most passionate, amazing Black women who can help you on your journey. And then after that, Day 6 is Black CEO Mastermind. You'll have the opportunity to hear from people like Dr. Willie Jolly, Dr. George C. Fraser, Allison Bird, Dakisha C. Williams, Constance Carter, Dr. Barrett Matthews, and so many more. They will be the Black CEO Iconic Mastermind. And I want to make sure that you tell people about that day, because that will be a life-changing moment to help you and others to move and shake the world with what we're going to cover, what you're going to share, and what you're going to learn on that day. And then finally, Day 7 is Focus and Flow. I want to make sure that you are showing up in the marketplace in your Black excellence, but I want you to put your best faith forward and understand, recognize, and embrace that you were fearfully and wonderfully made, and you want the world to know that it is the creator of the universe that gives you your very breath and allows your being to show up and shine in the marketplace. So ladies and gentlemen, we have 7 full days full of impact and information to help you with your business, to help you with your brand, and I see no other place that I want to be except right here with the Black CEO 2020 Event of the Year, known as Iconic. Once again, my friends, my name is Robert Antoine, and I approve this message. And I hope that you stay tuned, that you tell a friend. There will be so many calls to action to give you opportunities to connect with our speakers. Make sure that you further your business. Be a part of our mastermind. There will be swag. There will be merch. There will be so many opportunities for you to be plugged in and to interact with what we have going on here with Black CEOs 2021 Event of the Year, known as Iconic. Now watch this.
Hey man, I got a crazy question for you. A stupidly simple question. When was the last time you allowed yourself to dream? Like for real, like for real. When was the last time that you allowed yourself to dream, and you allowed yourself to dream wildly to the point where this thing just made no damn sense? It means to even be iconic. 17 years ago, I was a single mom, like constantly angry and frustrated and pissed off. And the truth of the matter is that I was stealing from Peter to pay Paul. I was often trying to just figure it out. I mean, I made $10.22 an hour. Do the math with me. $10.22 an hour is like roughly about $1,600 a month. And I'd love to tell you that I was stealing from Peter to pay Paul, but I really wasn't stealing from Peter to pay Paul. I was like stealing from Peter to semi-pay Paul. And more importantly, we were leaving them both in the alley as I went to try to pay Mark. I had no money. I either spent half of my week wanting to die, spending the other half of my week angry with God. I mean, I literally, I didn't see a way out. Me making a decision to start a business is one thing, but me making a decision to actually own my story and own the good, the bad, and the ugly, and not apologize for it has been everything. I want to transparently say this and say this truthfully, that your story is not just an asset. Your story is literally the greatest asset that you have today. Like, it's #1 asset that you have to do just about anything you want. You're gonna hear a lot of great people tell you that the root of money or making more money or making more connections or what you need to do is master storytelling. And you know, I'm not here to frown upon it, but I am here to say this. You can totally master storytelling and still don't tell your story. I'm not here to tell you that you need to master telling a great story. What I'm here to say is, damn it, you gotta make a decision to tell your story. When I think about the word iconic, I'm kind of saying to myself, well, this idea that I'm going to stand out, I'm gonna be different, I'm going to be unique. And then we're constantly looking for ways to be unique, right? So like, for some of us, that means that we're gonna go and we're gonna find like the dopest jacket. We're gonna go to thrift stores. We're gonna buy the pants that no one's ever seen. We're gonna wear dope earrings. And yes, those things make me unique, but come on, real talk, like within 5 miles of where I am right now, there is someone else in the world who has super dope pink lipstick on. There is someone else in the world, the thousands of people who are wearing our Do the Damn Thing shirt. Like, none of this stuff makes me unique. And if I spend all my time, energy, and effort trying to stand out in the market, well, trying to stand out to people, but then trying to stand out in the market and business and making dollars and putting cash in our bank account, if I try to bet on these things, and I'm going to lose, because there's someone else already out there with it. The truth of the matter, the #1 thing that actually makes me unique is my story.